Mom, it's 1,000,000 degrees out, and there's no AC in the living room. How do you expect me to sleep out there? Are you sure I'm your real son? Sarah remained unmoved. She was mostly just giving him a hard time. After the way he'd aced his SATs and made her proud, there was no way she'd actually make him sleep on the couch. Seeing her expression, Wyatt dug in his heels. I don't care. I'm sleeping in my bed. If you want Riley to have my room, she can sleep in there with me. I'm not shy. That finally did it. Sarah smacked him on the back of the head. How did I raise such a shameless creature? Riley is sleeping with me tonight. Your father can take the floor in our room. That's more like it. Ever since the SATs were over, Sarah had noticed her son had become much more outgoing. It was a good thing, so she didn't think much of it. But why had he also gotten so thick-skinned? It wasn't exactly a family trait. Riley, his younger cousin, finally spoke up, her nose in the air. I wouldn't want to sleep in your room anyway. Boys' rooms are always gross. My farts smell like roses, Wyatt retorted. You're disgusting. Seeing her pinch her nose with a look of utter contempt, Wyatt deliberately sat down next to her, a sly grin on his face. So, how were your final exams? 4th in my class, 13th in the whole school. You want my scores for each subject? Wyatt paused. He'd forgotten that his little cousin was a certified genius. She'd been at the top of her class through elementary, middle, and was on track for the same in high school. He remembered she eventually got into a top-tier university like Berkeley. She was one of the few academic powerhouses in the family. He brought up her grades to tease her, but now he was the one left speechless. Seeing Wyatt at a loss for words, Riley leaned in, suddenly sweet. Wyatt, Aunt Sarah said you're working at a bar this summer. It's a music lounge, he corrected. Can you take me with you? Absolutely not, Wyatt said, his voice firm. You're a kid. You're going to stay home where you belong. Riley grabbed his arm, her voice dropping to a wheedling whisper. Please, Wyatt. Pretty please. Girls her age were in their prime, rebellious phase. Riley was actually one of the tamer ones. Some 13-year-olds he knew were already hanging out with wannabe punk rockers. Pleading won't work. I don't get home until after midnight. Your mom would kill me if I took you out that late. Riley's nose wrinkled as she put on her best puppy dog face. Wyatt sighed, defeated. Fine. How about this? I'll take you out tomorrow. We can hang out downtown. Yes. Her face lit up instantly. I want to see a movie and buy new clothes and go to that Korean barbecue place. Whoa, stop. I said I'd take you out. I didn't say anything about movies. I'm broke. Riley squinted at him, her nose wrinkling again. You're so cheap. I don't have any money. My mom just gave you a card with cash in it. That's for something else. Riley was exasperated, but she finally waved a dismissive hand. Fine. I won't use your money. I have my own. Her dad was a senior doctor at the hospital. His salary dwarfed Wyatt's dad's. Thinking of this, Wyatt slung an arm around her shoulder and whispered, Hey, Riley, let me see how much you've got. What for? I'll hold on to it for you. For safekeeping. Before Riley could answer, Sarah, who had materialized behind them, grabbed Wyatt's ear and twisted. Are you trying to scam your own cousin out of her money? Have you no shame? Oh, Mom. It hurts. Riley, don't listen to him, Sarah said, releasing Wyatt. You keep the money your parents gave you safe. Okay. Later that night, after his shift at the lounge, Wyatt showered and sat on his bed, scrolling through the news and checking on his stocks. The $500 from his mom was already in his investment account, along with the $1,000 that the little rich girl, CeCe, had paid him for the song. His brokerage account now held nearly $2,000. For a guy about to start college, it wasn't bad. But for someone whose goal was to become a millionaire within a year, it was a drop in the bucket. Wyatt sighed. Whenever he felt like he didn't have enough money, his thoughts inevitably drifted to CeCe. He opened his messenger app and typed her a message. Wyatt, you up? CeCe, seeing the message pop up, sat up on her couch. Her slender fingers flew across the screen. CeCe, it's not that late. Wyatt, how come you never text me first? CeCe, why would I? Wyatt, I thought we were friends now. CeCe, do friends have to talk every day? Wyatt, obviously. CeCe, I don't know what to talk about. Wyatt, hobbies, interests, the past, the future. People we've met, places we've seen, things we're thinking about. We could even talk about the meaning of life sometimes. CeCe, I don't want to stay home tomorrow. Let me take you out to eat. Wyatt, why the random invitation? CeCe, because you eat like a pig and it's funny. Wyatt, I promised my little cousin I'd take her out tomorrow afternoon. Want to come with? CeCe, I don't like crowds. Wyatt, she's in middle school. Just a kid. CeCe, fine. Wyatt, I'll message you tomorrow afternoon. CeCe, K. Wyatt, good night. He waited a beat, then added, Wyatt, as a friend, you're supposed to say it back. 2 minutes later, a new message appeared. CeCe, good night. The next morning. Wyatt, A voice seemed to be trying to summon his soul from the great beyond, right next to his ear. Wyatt groggily opened his eyes to see Riley standing over him like a specter. He jumped, his heart pounding, then let out a long breath as he came to his senses. "What are you doing?" "It's after 8, Wyatt," she mumbled. "I didn't get to sleep until midnight," he groaned. "Please, I'm begging you. Let me sleep a little longer." Riley obediently said, "Oh, okay." Half an hour later. "Been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. Been waiting for a girl like you, a love that will survive." Riley's sharp, piercing voice echoed from the living room. The song was Story of My Life by One Direction, a new hit from earlier that year. The band wasn't a global supernova quite yet, but they were well on their way to becoming the biggest thing in pop music. Listening to the racket from the living room, Wyatt felt his sanity fraying. He stumbled out of his room, hair a mess, and saw Riley bouncing on the sofa, singing into her phone. With a look of utter despair, he shuffled into the bathroom. 10 minutes later, Wyatt was at the table, eating breakfast. "Wyatt, when are we going out?" "This afternoon." "What time this afternoon?" "We'll see." "Wyatt, what are we having for lunch?" "Dirt." "Wyatt, why are you ignoring me?" "Wyatt, is it just going to be the two of us this afternoon?" "Someone else is coming." "Who?" "A friend. An older girl." "A girl." At 2:15, under the shade of a Bradford pear tree at the entrance to their neighborhood, Riley was still chattering away. Wyatt was starting to feel a deep, existential gloom. He'd slept poorly, and from the moment he'd woken up, the kid had been a non-stop buzz in his ear. The sun was beating down, fraying his last nerve. He finally snapped and clapped a hand over her mouth. "Just shut up. If you say one more word, I swear I'm leaving you here." MMPH. Riley's face turned red as she tried to protest, but only muffled squeaks came out. "Be quiet," Wyatt said sharply. Riley immediately went limp, her expression turning wounded. A pair of big, expressive eyes stared up at him. Wyatt had a fatal weakness for teary-eyed girls, especially little ones. His heart softened, and he dropped his hand. The next second, she swung a tiny fist at him. Wyatt, quick on his feet, dodged back and pressed a hand against her forehead, holding her at bay. "You jerk! You big meanie!" Riley threw a flurry of windmill punches, none of which landed. And that was the exact moment CeCe saw them, pulling up in her family's car. The Lexus minivan stopped right beside them. "Car's here," Wyatt announced. "Riley, behave." Riley saw the vehicle, shot Wyatt one last furious glare, then turned her attention to the car. The window glided down. A flawless face was revealed to them. Before Wyatt could speak, Riley's expression transformed. She put on her most angelic face and chirped, "Wyatt, this girl is so pretty." No subtlety at all, Wyatt thought. Someone that pretty, you don't call her a girl, you call her my girlfriend. CeCe rarely left the house and wasn't used to such direct compliments. A faint blush colored her cheeks. Wyatt gently tugged on Riley's hair, pulling her behind him as he stepped forward and opened the car door. "Introduction time. This is my cousin, Riley. She just graduated middle school. It was a promotion ceremony, not a graduation. It is if I say it is." CeCe just nodded. "Get in." Wyatt rubbed his hands together, already feeling the cool blast of air conditioning from the car. "Scoot over and make some room." "You sit in the front," CeCe said coolly. "Let my cousin sit up front. She gets carsick." Riley piped up, "No, I don't." CeCe repeated, her tone firm. "You sit in the front. Your cousin will sit with me." "Okay." Before Wyatt could even agree, Riley pushed past him and hopped in the back. CeCe shifted over to make space for her. Wyatt felt like cursing. Why did he bring this little saboteur with him? Never again. He swore he would never, ever take her out with him again. He opened the passenger door and saw Rebecca at the wheel. He forced a smile. "Hi, Rebecca." Rebecca asked directly, "Where are we going?" "The downtown promenade." "Why are we going there to shop instead of the mall?" CeCe asked from the back. "The mall is all brand names. Stuff I can't afford," Wyatt said. "The shops on the promenade are cheaper." CeCe just wanted to get out of the house for a bit. She didn't need new clothes anyway, so she didn't argue. Rebecca nodded and started driving toward the city center. "You're so pale," Riley said to CeCe. "And your legs are so long. Are you like 5'7"? My cousin is such a dork. How did you even meet him?" Wyatt took a deep breath, fighting down his irritation. "Riley, if you say one more word, I'm throwing you out of this car." "It's not your car. You can't tell me what to do." Wyatt was rendered speechless. Seeing the frustrated look on his face, a small smile touched CeCe's lips. She spoke up, asking Riley, "How old are you?" 13. CeCe and Riley, one a chatterbox and the other practically mute, somehow didn't create the awkward silence Wyatt had feared. Instead, they complimented each other. Under Riley's relentless questioning, CeCe actually started to open up, and soon they were lost in conversation. Wyatt shook his head with a wry smile. The little pest was useful for something, after all. Rebecca saw it all, driving in silence. Later tonight, she would report every detail of CeCe's day to Miranda. It was part of her job. A short while later, the minivan pulled over near the main shopping district. Wyatt hopped out, followed by CeCe and Riley. "I want to get a haircut first," Wyatt said, pointing to a barber shop up the street. CeCe was about to speak, but Riley grabbed her hand. "Okay, you go get your haircut. Me and my new big sister will go shopping first. Hey, come on, let's go." And just like that, CeCe was led away by Riley. The two of them were laughing and talking like they'd known each other for years, leaving Wyatt feeling like the third wheel. Shaking his head, Wyatt walked into the barber shop. A stylist immediately approached him. "Hey man, need a cut?" The term handsome in a barber shop was the most meaningless compliment in the world. Every guy was handsome. Every girl was pretty. Wyatt nodded and went to get his hair washed. As soon as he sat down in the chair, the stylist picked up a pair of clippers. "Whoa, what are you doing? Cutting your hair? You just gonna go straight for the clippers? Didn't you want to ask me what I wanted?" The stylist thought, "Isn't it always the same? Buzz the sides, trim the top, leave the bangs." But seeing Wyatt's reaction, he asked, "All right, so what are you thinking? Give me a texture crop. A 2-block cut. A what?" Seeing the stylist's blank expression, Wyatt realized the hairstyle probably hadn't hit the mainstream in the US yet. He sighed. "Okay, just do what I say," and put the clippers down. The sight of the clippers terrified him. The last thing he needed was a bowl cut. Start with the sides. Clip the top hair up. Leave about an inch on the sides, and make the fade look natural. Same for the back, but give it a soft C shape, so it looks fuller. Leave the top and the bangs about 4 or 5 inches long. I want it messy and textured on top, and chop into the bangs a bit. Wyatt started directing the stylist like a movie director on set. A haircut that should have taken 5 minutes stretched into 15. After another wash, Wyatt grabbed the blow-dryer himself, styling his hair with a casual side part. The stylist just stared, dumbfounded. The cut actually looked pretty damn good. "Hey man, what did you say the hairstyle was called again?" "A textured crop." Wyatt put down the dryer, paid, and walked out with a newfound swagger. He had no idea that, starting today, he had inadvertently pushed the American men's hairstyling industry a great leap forward. Meanwhile, in a women's clothing store. "Excuse me, how much is this shirt?" Riley asked. $40. I'll give you 15. I have a 20% off student coupon, and I saw it on the 50% off rack in the back. The owner laughed. "Hey kid, you don't mess around, do you? You're a tough negotiator. So deal or no deal? If not, I'm leaving." Okay, kid. Deal. Don't go." "Here you go," Riley said, handing over the money. "How old are you anyway? What grade are you in?" "Starting 9th grade in the fall." "Wise beyond your years. If you keep talking, I'm taking my money back." I meant it as a compliment. CeCe had watched, stunned, as Riley, with the speed and precision of a military operation, turned a $40 t-shirt into a $15 steal. The whole process was seamless. She never knew you could bargain like that. Or rather, that you could be so surgically effective with sales and coupons. She was suddenly in awe of Riley. "Come on, let's go," Riley said. "You're only buying one thing?" CeCe asked, confused. Riley smiled. "Yeah, I don't really need clothes. I want to save some money to buy something for Wyatt." "For him?" Riley nodded sweetly, then stood on her tiptoes and whispered in CeCe's ear. "He's so cheap. This morning I saw the underwear he had hanging out to dry on the balcony had a hole in it. Don't tell him I told you. You know how guys are about their pride." A hole in his underwear. For some reason, after Riley whispered that, a very specific image popped into CeCe's head. Mortifying. Awkward. CeCe's face instantly turned bright red. Just as they walked out of the store, Wyatt, fresh from his haircut and searching for them, spotted them immediately. It was hard not to. CeCe stood out in any crowd. At 5'7", she was already tall for a woman, and her skin, fair and smooth, seemed to glow under the sun like polished jade. "Wyatt, your new haircut makes you look way more handsome," Riley commented. "I've always been handsome." Wyatt's old hairstyle had been similar to Leo's, long and a bit shaggy, with a faint emo vibe. The new, cleaner cut made him look much brighter and more confident. For a second, CeCe thought she was seeing things. She didn't even realize her gaze had been fixed on Wyatt's face for a long, silent moment. "I know I'm good-looking, but you don't have to stare," he teased. CeCe quickly looked away, defensive. "Who's staring at you? Don't be ridiculous." "Big sister CeCe, your ears are a little red," Riley pointed out. It's just hot out." CeCe fumbled in her small purse and pulled out a bottle of high-end sunscreen spray. She tilted her head back, closed her eyes, and spritzed it evenly over her face, neck, arms, and her long, fair legs. As CeCe bent over to spray her calves, she noticed Wyatt staring at her, or more accurately, staring at her legs. She immediately aimed the bottle at him like it was pepper spray and gave him a full blast. Wyatt waved his hands in front of his face. What was that for? That's what you get for staring. Looking isn't a crime. Just as they were about to start bickering, Riley stepped between them, smiling sweetly. Big sister CeCe, is that sunscreen? Yes. Can I have some too? CeCe's expression softened into a smile. Of course. Riley had effortlessly diffused the tension. She then grabbed Wyatt's arm and continued to drag him through the shopping district. Before long, she pulled him into a men's clothing store. Wyatt looked at the sign outside, then at the clothes inside. Riley, are you lost? This is a men's store. I'm not lost. Those jeans you wear are so faded, they're almost white. Don't you need new clothes? I'm broke, remember? Riley beamed. But I'm not. You're going to buy me clothes with your money? MHM. Wyatt paused, then dramatically wiped at his dry eyes. I'm so touched, Riley. From this day forward, you are my official favorite sister. Come here and let your big brother give you a kiss. Riley rolled her eyes, ignoring him, and started browsing. CeCe shot Wyatt a sidelong glance. Stop faking it. You're grinning from ear to ear. Wyatt walked into the store, and watching Riley seriously picking out clothes for him, he did feel a genuine warmth spread through his chest. He remembered keeping in touch with Riley through college, but after graduation, work had gotten in the way. Later, after he married Chloe, Riley had come to visit once. He'd only talked to her for a little while before Chloe got jealous of his own cousin. It had gotten so awkward that he'd stopped inviting Riley over, and their relationship had slowly faded. Wyatt sat in the rest area by the entrance, watching Riley and CeCe debate which shirt looked better. A fond, almost paternal smile crept onto his face. Wyatt, what about this one? As long as it's not something ridiculous and flashy, I'm good. Then try this on. Wyatt walked over with a smile and headed for the fitting room. He put on a plain white t-shirt, as basic as it gets, and a pair of black casual pants. It was the simplest black and white combination, but when Wyatt wore it, the clothes looked like they were tailor-made for him. Riley circled him, her arms crossed, one hand stroking her chin thoughtfully. Big sister CeCe, what do you think? It's decent. I think he looks super handsome, Riley said, then turned to CeCe with a grin. You think so too, right? CeCe mumbled a barely audible MHM. Then came Riley's favorite part, deal hunting with the cashier. With Wyatt joining in, it became a full-on assault. Riley was good at finding deals, but Wyatt was a master. He found a buy one, get one free rack, combined it with a coupon Riley had, and somehow convinced the cashier to honor an expired student discount. CeCe was flabbergasted. She'd never seen anything like it. My God, she thought. How does this store even stay in business? In the end, Riley spent just over $50 and got Wyatt 2 t-shirts and a pair of pants. With his new clothes and new haircut, he looked like a completely different person. The kid was looking sharp. So what now, he asked. Time to get some good food. Wyatt, my pockets are shallow. Can you hold my phone for me? And the clothes I just bought. You can hold those too. Beggars can't be choosers, and Wyatt, being the beneficiary of her shopping spree, couldn't exactly refuse. CeCe watched this, then held out her own small purse to Wyatt. What? Hold it. What do you guys think I am? Your personal butler. I'm paying for dinner, CeCe said. Miss CeCe, is there anything else you require? Wyatt immediately straightened up. Your wish is my command. I am at your service, on call 12 hours a day. CeCe raised an eyebrow. Why not 24? Well, if you want me to stay the night, that's a different price list. And for now, my services are for labor only. My body is not for sale. Wyatt, it's a universal truth that women are born to shop. Riley was living proof. Wyatt had thought CeCe would be an exception, but to his surprise, she and Riley spent the entire afternoon browsing. What Wyatt didn't know was that CeCe didn't dislike going out because she was a homebody. It was because she never knew where to go or what to do. If she was alone, she preferred to just stay home. This afternoon, even though she hadn't bought a single thing or spent a dime, she felt incredibly happy. Wyatt played the role of the dutiful follower, trailing them from shop to shop. It was more exhausting than working a full shift at the lounge. Trailing behind them, he finally said with a world-weary sigh, Can I ask you guys a question? Go ahead, they said in unison. Do you know why they invented online shopping? Why? To save guys like me from this exact torture, Wyatt grumbled. Hearing this, CeCe and Riley knew he was complaining about them. They both turned around at the same time and pointedly ignored him. Hey, wait up, I can't feel my legs. You're useless, Wyatt, Riley said, jogging back to him. She forcibly pulled him up from the bench he'd collapsed onto and dragged him to catch up with CeCe. Riley seemed to think that if the three of them were out together, they should be in sync like best friends holding hands on their way to the bathroom after class. So, she reached out and took CeCe's hand again. Three figures, two tall, one small, walked down the promenade. Passers-by glanced at the scene, a warm, charming tableau against the afternoon sun. That evening, CeCe treated them to dinner at a trendy restaurant where entrees started at $30. As the dishes arrived one by one, CeCe watched Wyatt and Riley stare at the food, occasionally licking their lips in anticipation. A rare smile graced her face. "You can eat, you know." Riley, acting wise beyond her years, said politely, "Big sister CeCe, you really shouldn't have." As she spoke, Wyatt had already launched his clean plate operation. CeCe couldn't help but chuckle. "Look at your cousin. Does he look like he feels bad?" Riley glanced over, sighed like a world-weary old woman, and picked up her chopsticks. Though they were cousins, their table manners were identical. When they both lunged for the last piece of sweet and sour ribs, their chopsticks clashing in the middle of the plate, CeCe almost burst out laughing. "Seriously, Wyatt, have some dignity," she said, her eyes sparkling with amusement. She didn't know that at another table in the restaurant, a man in his 40s was snapping a picture of them with his phone. The woman next to him frowned. "What are you taking a picture of?" The man smiled. "That's our bank president's daughter. He was not happy the last time I mentioned she was hanging out with that boy. Now, they're having dinner together. I have to let him know." The woman glanced over. "They look cute together, and they seem old enough. It's not like they're in middle school. You don't get it. She's his only daughter, his princess. That boy's family has no connections, no background. There's no way the president would approve." As he spoke, the man had already sent the photo to Charles. At that very moment, Charles, in the middle of a business dinner of his own, felt his phone buzz. He picked it up and saw the photo from his relationship manager. He froze. After a full 5 seconds, he stood up. "Excuse me, I have to take a call." He stepped outside and dialed Miranda's number. "Charles, can you please stop calling me all the time? I'm busy. I just sent you a photo. Did you see it?" Miranda opened her messenger app and looked. Charles's voice was tight. "What is going on? Why is CeCe still with him?" Miranda studied the picture. "What's the problem? They're having dinner together, and you're asking me what the problem is?" Charles's voice was low and angry. "When you're with your daughter, has she ever smiled like that? What's wrong with friends having a meal together? And did you even notice there's another little girl with them?" The three rapid-fire questions left Charles speechless. In the photo, CeCe was beaming, a genuine, happy smile that even Miranda rarely saw at home. She had worried about CeCe being cooped up all the time, worried about her mental health, even worried she might be developing depression. So when Miranda first saw the picture, she wasn't angry. She was relieved. She felt her daughter was finally starting to open up, and it was all thanks to Wyatt. Her impression of Wyatt wasn't bad, either. From their 2 brief meetings, she found him to be a mature and level-headed young man. And besides, the photo clearly showed it wasn't just her daughter and Wyatt. There was a much younger girl with them. If they were really dating, why would they bring a third wheel along? Charles was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he had calmed down. "So, you're okay with this? You're just going to let this develop?" "Don't forget, she's an adult now," Charles, Miranda said. "She can make some of her own decisions." His tone softened. "Miranda, you know me. I'm just worried she'll get hurt or taken advantage of. Wyatt is more mature than you think. Sometimes, I even feel that with him around, I'd be less worried about CeCe being by herself in New York for college. If that's how you feel, then just forget I said anything." Charles hung up, his expression heavy. By the time they finished dinner, it was getting dark. They dropped Riley off at home first. Then, Rebecca drove to the front of the music lounge. Wyatt took out his phone and texted his number to CeCe. She looked at the message, then up at him, confused. "That's my number," he explained. He opened the car door and got out before delivering the second half of his line. "You can call me if you can't sleep at night." He grinned and walked away. CeCe stared after him for a moment, processing what he'd said. When it finally clicked, he was already halfway down the block. She clutched her phone and muttered under her breath, "Jerk." After Rebecca dropped CeCe at home, she drove back to her own place. She typed up a summary of the afternoon, the shopping, the dinner with Wyatt and Riley, and sent it to Miranda. Around 10 o'clock, Miranda replied, "Rebecca, how has CeCe's mood been lately?" Rebecca typed back, "Very good. She was happy all afternoon." Miranda's next question was a surprise. "What do you think of Wyatt?" "Rebecca, I'm not sure what to say. So far, he seems all right. He can be a bit of a punk sometimes, but he seems to know where the line is." Miranda, "Okay, I understand." In the days that followed, Wyatt and CeCe kept in touch via text. Wyatt's schedule was packed. He slept in, spent the afternoons at the driving range with Leo, and worked at the lounge at night. Their chats were usually brief. On the 7th, Wyatt and Leo took their behind-the-wheel driving test. Wyatt, of course, passed on the first try. Leo failed his first attempt, but passed on the second, with only a small deduction for not stopping smoothly on a hill. See? Feels good to have that out of the way, right? Man, our instructor has been chewing me out for days. I'm not practicing for the next part with you. The SATs weren't this stressful. Pressure builds diamonds, my friend. I'm giving myself a week max to practice for the final road test. I want my license before the end of July. What's the rush? It's not like you have a car. Wyatt shrugged. I'll probably buy one when I get to college. It'll make things easier. Hey, Leo, what do you think I should get? A Mercedes, a BMW, or an Audi? Audi? Dude, you couldn't even afford a used scooter. They bantered and bragged all the way home. Just as Wyatt took out his keys, the front door swung open. Riley came running toward him barefoot, but she couldn't stop in time and ran head-first into his stomach. She rubbed her head, her eyes wide with excitement. Wyatt. Big sister CeCe invited us to her house tomorrow. She what? She invited me, Riley clarified. Wyatt's brow furrowed. He was surprised CeCe would invite anyone into her home. From what he'd seen, she had her defenses up high. The first time he'd held her hand at the bank, her palm had been slick with sweat. The first time he'd called her CeCe, she'd stomped on his foot. Those reactions told him she hadn't let her guard down around him yet. So why now? Wyatt? Hello. Do you have a crush on big sister CeCe? Riley asked, her eyes gleaming with gossip. Wyatt felt a pang of guilt and pushed her away. This is adult business. Kids should stay out of it. Whatever, she sniffed. He poured himself a glass of water. As he was about to drink it, he suddenly turned back to her. Have you two been texting these past few days? Yeah. There's no one home during the day. It's boring by myself. Let me see your chat history. No. Give it to me. No. Wyatt lunged for her phone. Riley immediately flopped onto the sofa, trapping the phone underneath her. Did you say something bad about me? No. Let me see. No. Get up. Just as Wyatt managed to lift Riley clean off the couch, her legs kicking like a squirming fish, the front door opened. His parents, David and Sarah, stood in the doorway, frozen, staring at the scene. Riley immediately put on a pitiful face. Aunt Sarah, Wyatt is trying to steal my phone. You shameless thing. Sarah grabbed the broom from by the door. Your cousin is only staying with us for a little while, and you're bullying her. Mom. Let's talk about this. Put the broom down. That night, on Messenger. Wyatt, you want me and Riley to come over? CeCe. I only invited Riley. CeCe. She said she's staying at your house and needs a chaperone to go out. Wyatt grinned. That was definitely a lie Riley had cooked up to get him to come along. The little schemer had a conscience after all. He played along. Wyatt, right. It's not like I wanted to go anyway. I've got my driving test prep during the day and work at night. I'm a busy man. CeCe. Then you could just get out of the car halfway. I'll have Rebecca drop Riley off at your place in the evening. Wyatt, get out halfway? Where would I go? CeCe, not my problem. Wyatt, could you be a little nicer to your one and only friend? CeCe, you're not my only friend anymore. CeCe, Riley is my friend too. Wyatt, she's just a kid. CeCe smiled to herself as she typed. I like kids. Wyatt, if you like kids so much, we could have one of our own someday. A minute passed. Wyatt, hello, 5 minutes. Wyatt, I was just kidding. 20 minutes. Wyatt, fine, ignore me. Going to bed. Good night. The next day was another scorcher. The first thing Wyatt did after waking up was grab his phone from under his pillow to see if CeCe had replied. Thankfully, she had. At some point after midnight. CeCe, if you say things like that again, I'm going to stop talking to you. Was that a reprimand? It almost sounded like she was pouting. Wyatt smiled, got up, and went to the bathroom. To his surprise, Riley was in the living room, diligently working on her summer homework. You're up, Wyatt. Yep. Wyatt, there's a math problem I don't get. Can you help me? Nope. Riley's lip jutted out. It's an 8th grade problem. Wyatt shrugged. The sight of a math problem gives me a headache now. Just Google it. She pouted. You just don't want to help me. That's not it. The truth was, for a normal person who'd been out of school and in the working world for years, an 8th grade math problem might actually be a challenge. After the SATs, my brain just doesn't work the same way, he explained. I definitely can help you with math, but I could probably teach you some other things. Like what? The ways of the world. Or I could teach you how to tell if a guy is good or bad. Riley tilted her head, curious. How can you tell? Wyatt held 2 fingers under her nose. All you have to do is put your fingers under his nose, just like this. Any man who's still breathing is probably no good. Except for me, of course. Riley opened her mouth as if to bite him, and Wyatt quickly snatched his hand back. He spent the morning researching stocks while Riley worked on her homework. Around noon, Wyatt went into the kitchen and cooked a simple lunch. Smells good. Wyatt, when did you learn to cook? You could do anything if you really want to learn. The people who are old and still can't cook are either lazy or have someone to do it for them. Riley praised his cooking by eating a huge bowl of rice. After they were full, they both collapsed onto the sofa in a food coma. At 2:30, just as Wyatt was about to drift off, Riley yanked him up. Wyatt, get up. Big sister CeCe's driver is on her way to pick us up. Already. Wyatt shot up from the sofa, ran to the bathroom to splash cold water on his face, grabbed his keys and phone, and was out the door with Riley moments later. At the entrance to the neighborhood, Rebecca picked them up and headed toward Maple Creek Estates. She had already told Miranda about the invitation, and after a moment's hesitation, Miranda had agreed. So Rebecca drove in silence. As the minivan entered Maple Creek Estates, the two guards at the gate saluted smartly. The wide asphalt road was lined with lush, green maple trees. In the fall, their leaves would turn a brilliant red, which was how the community got its name. Riley blinked, her eyes wide. This is beautiful. The neighborhood is like a park, though Wyatt had expected it. Seeing this kind of wealthy enclave up close still sent a ripple through him. It must be nice to be rich. The minivan finally pulled into the driveway of a villa. There was no pool in the yard, but the community had a massive one exclusively for residents. The yard itself was beautifully landscaped with flowers and shrubs, maintained by a professional gardening service. When Riley got out of the car, she looked around in awe. Wyatt simply raised a hand in greeting to CeCe, who was waiting at the door. Come on in. As she watched Wyatt step into the living room, Rebecca knew with certainty that from this moment on, their relationship could no longer be described as just ordinary friends. The living room was even more luxurious. An imported leather sofa, a pure wool rug, and a crystal chandelier worth a six-figure sum hanging from the high, vaulted ceiling. Riley's family was well off, but she still looked like a country girl on her first trip to the big city, her head swiveling to take it all in. Wyatt, however, was relatively calm. He walked in and sat down on the sofa. CeCe went to the refrigerator. What kind of ice cream do you want? A fudgesicle, Wyatt said. A popsicle, Riley echoed. CeCe paused, opening the freezer. I don't have either of those. All I have is Magnum and Haagen-Dazs. Whatever's fine, then. CeCe brought over 2 Magnum bars and handed them out. Big sister CeCe, is this whole house yours? Riley asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. MHM, it's huge. Your room must be gigantic, right? It's all right, CeCe said. In reality, the entire second floor was her personal space. She had her own walk-in closet and a massive bathroom with a tub so large it could fit inside an average person's entire bathroom. Riley was green with envy. The two girls chatted away happily. After a while, Riley finally seemed to remember Wyatt was there. Wyatt, why are you so quiet? You two go ahead and talk. Don't mind me. Riley shot him a look that said you're hopeless, then turned back to CeCe with a smile. Big sister CeCe, can I see your room? Okay. CeCe agreed without hesitation and led Riley upstairs, leaving Wyatt on the sofa. Riley was a girl, so it was fine for her to see CeCe's room. But Wyatt was a guy, and it was his first time at her house. There were certain lines he knew he shouldn't cross. He didn't know that a security camera was mounted in the corner of the living room ceiling, pointed right at him. And at that moment, Miranda was watching the live feed on her phone. Seeing Wyatt just sitting quietly on the sofa, Miranda felt a sense of relief, but also a pang of curiosity. What was he thinking right now? In their previous meetings, he had struck her as talkative and clever. But today, since arriving at her house, he'd barely said a word. Miranda wondered if seeing their home had made him realize the gap between their families, causing him to feel insecure. CeCe, who was not good with social cues, would never notice something like that. Miranda hesitated, wondering if she should say something to her daughter, but ultimately decided against it. Wyatt was already here. There was no turning back. She would just let things develop naturally. Meanwhile, upstairs, the moment CeCe led Riley into her room, she regretted it. The Stitch plushie Wyatt had won for her was still sitting on her bed. But Riley's attention wasn't on the plushie. She walked straight into CeCe's walk-in closet, her face a mask of pure envy as she stared at the rows of clothes and shoes. CeCe realized Riley had no idea the plushie was a gift from Wyatt. The knot in her stomach loosened. Big sister CeCe, you're so lucky. You have your own walk-in closet. Seeing the pure joy on Riley's face, CeCe was struck by a thought. Was having a special room for your clothes really what happiness was? My cousin Wyatt's room is probably smaller than this closet, Riley chattered on. But he's actually a pretty good guy. He's just a little goofy, a little clumsy, and has zero shame. You know, and a little dumb, CeCe added. Yeah, that too. They stayed upstairs for about 15 minutes before coming back down. The three of them then settled on the sofa and watched a comedy, an old Will Ferrell classic. Watching Anchorman on a 100-inch screen was a completely different experience from watching it on a phone. Around 5 o'clock, Wyatt finally stood up. It's getting late. Riley and I should head back. I'll have Rebecca drive you. Thanks. Riley also stood up, smiling. Big sister CeCe, can I come over and play again sometime? Of course, CeCe said with a nod. The sun was still high in the sky. In the car, Riley started chattering again, her words filled with envy. Wyatt smiled and patted her on the head. Don't be so dramatic. Just get into a good college, work hard, and you'll be able to afford a nice house like that too. Riley suddenly asked, Wyatt, you barely said anything to big sister CeCe all afternoon. Is it because you think the gap between you two is too big? Rebecca, hearing this from the driver's seat, was also curious to hear his answer. No, Wyatt said. It just made me realize the goal I set for myself was too small. I need to aim higher now. What goal? Wyatt gently flicked her forehead. Getting nosy, are we? Mind your own business. Humph, Riley grumbled, sticking her tongue out at him before rolling down the window to watch the scenery go by. When Wyatt arrived at the lounge that night, Hannah handed him his pay for the previous month. The moment he took the envelope, he knew the amount was too high. He frowned. I didn't work a full month, and I took a day off. Is this too much? Hannah smiled. The boss already took care of it. Part of that is your bonus for singing, plus an extra $200. It's $900 in total. You can count it. What's there to count? I trust you. Wyatt pocketed the cash and looked around. By the way, where's the boss? She had something to take care of. Something. MHM. Hannah grabbed a wet wipe and started cleaning the register screen. She probably won't be in tonight. Wyatt pressed further. Hannah, you've known her the longest. Is our boss married or not? Yes and no. Huh. Hannah glanced up at Wyatt. Seeing no one else around, she lowered her voice. First, swear you won't tell anyone. Wyatt raised his hand. I swear. Don't worry, Hannah, my lips are sealed. The boss had a fiancée. They were together for 7 years and were already engaged. But right before the wedding, he was in a car accident. He didn't make it. Wyatt listened, a profound sense of sadness washing over him. No wonder Vivian always stood outside late at night, staring at the stars and the moon. He never knew she was carrying such a heavy story. Today is the anniversary of his death, so she probably won't be coming in tonight. I see. Since the end of last month, business at the lounge had picked up considerably. Tonight was no exception. Starting at 8, waves of customers began to fill the tables. Wyatt and Emily were swamped. Thankfully, by 10:30, the crowd had stabilized. Just as Wyatt was about to take a breather, Leo walked in. Leo, what the hell are you doing here? I'm here to spend money. Is that a problem? Leo shot back. Give me a cold beer. They're in the fridge. Get yourself. You're the server. I'm the customer. Ever heard of the customer is always right? Wyatt threw an arm around Leo's neck and pulled him into a headlock. Say that again. I dare you. Emily saw them roughhousing and knew they were friends. While they were wrestling, she had already grabbed a beer from the fridge and handed it to Leo. Leo thanked her shyly. As soon as Emily walked away, he lowered his voice. So, which one is your boss? On his first day looking for the job, Wyatt had told Leo how beautiful the owner was, and Leo had never forgotten it. He'd been meaning to come by and see if the gorgeous, smart, with a killer body description was real. Wyatt grinned. She's been here every night for the past few weeks. Today's the one day she's not here. Guess it's just not your lucky day. For real. Would I lie to you? Leo's interest instantly vanished. He found a table and sat down. Seeing that the lounge wasn't busy, Wyatt grabbed 2 glasses and joined him for a drink. It's late. Your mom doesn't care that you're out. She's at my grandma's. My dad's pulling an all-nighter tonight. An all-nighter? There's a big soccer game on in the middle of the night, Leo explained. You know my dad? He doesn't have many hobbies, but he loves his soccer. The lounge has been pretty busy lately, Wyatt said. I'll probably be here until 11. Want to wait for me? Sure. My mom's not home, so no one's waiting up for me. Leo pulled out his phone, a smirk on his face. I just joined a freshman group for our college. Someone posted a picture of the campus belle. Check her out. Leo opened his photo gallery and showed Wyatt the picture. Wyatt glanced at it. That's it. What do you mean, that's it? You don't think she's pretty? She's average. Can't compare to my girlfriend. Yeah, right. Wyatt let it slide and changed the subject. When did you get a new phone? What brand is that? Samsung Galaxy S5. Came out in May. Snapdragon 801 processor. Pretty sweet, huh? It's all right. Leo was confused. You did so well on your SATs. Your parents didn't give you money for a new phone. They did, I just didn't buy one. My phone still works, so it's fine. As far as I'm concerned, all the phones out now are garbage anyway. You're full of it. You talk like you've ever used a good phone. A 120 Hz high refresh rate screen, a battery that charges in 15 minutes, 5G signal with hundreds of megs per second. After using a phone like that, of course the phones from 2014 felt like garbage. Wyatt just smiled and didn't reply. They sat there, drinking and talking about their college dreams, and time flew by. Just before 11, the last two customers got up to leave. Wyatt was about to clear their table when he overheard their conversation and froze. Germany versus Brazil tonight. Who do you think will win? Brazil, for sure. They're so strong this year, and they have the home field advantage. How can Germany compete? You never know. Germany's been solid too. They beat France in the quarterfinals. Germany versus Brazil. 2014. The 2014 World Cup. How could I have forgotten this golden opportunity to get rich? Wyatt suddenly remembered the infamous World Cup semifinal match where Germany demolished the host nation, Brazil, with a final score of 7-1. Before the match, almost no one could have predicted that outcome. Brazil was a powerhouse with a home field advantage. Even if Germany won, no one imagined the score would be so lopsided. That was why some random guy in Europe, supposedly drunk, had placed a €200 bet on that exact score and, thanks to the 6,500 to 1 odds, walked away with over $1 million. The story had been all over the news. How the hell did I forget about this? Wyatt stood there stunned for a moment, then grabbed Leo. How did you get here? I rode my electric scooter. Give me the keys. What for? I need to go out for a minute. Hurry up, give them to me. Leo had no idea why Wyatt was so agitated, but he handed over the keys. Wyatt immediately turned to Hannah and Emily. Hannah, Emily, I'll be right back. Okay. Wyatt sprinted out of the lounge, hopped on the scooter, and sped toward the nearest place he could think of that might take a sports bet. It was a long shot, but he knew a guy who ran a small-time bookie operation out of the back of a cigar shop. Luckily, because of the World Cup, the shop was open late. Wyatt skidded to a stop and ran inside. Hey, am I still in time to bet on the Germany-Brazil game? Wyatt panted. The bookie looked up slowly. Yeah, you can. The score? Can I bet on the score? You can. Higher odds that way. What score you want? 7-1. The bookie squinted at him. You new to this, kid? For a score like that, the best I can give you is a prop bet on a blowout. We don't do exact scores over 5 goals for one team. It's too crazy. What? Wyatt didn't know the rules. You want to bet on other score? The bookie asked. The odds are still pretty good. Yes, I'll take it. For Brazil to win? Germany. You want to bet on Germany to beat Brazil? By that much? Yes. You sure? Germany winning and scoring more than 5 goals? That's basically impossible. Wyatt nodded firmly. That's what I want. What are the odds? 150 to 1. Only 150? Damn it. If he could just get all his money out of his stock account, he could make a fortune. But the cash was tied up, and trying to withdraw it and get to a bank now would take too long. Wyatt pulled all the cash out of his pockets, the $900 he'd just gotten from Hannah. Here's 900. Put it all on Germany to win, with a final score of other. 900 bucks? The bookie eyed him, smelling the beer on his breath. Kid, have you thought this through? Don't do something stupid just because you've had a few drinks. I've thought it through. All right, I'm placing the bet. No refunds. Yeah, do it. The bookie shrugged and printed out a betting slip, handing it to Wyatt. Wyatt checked it to make sure it was correct, then carefully folded the slip and put it in his wallet before leaving. As he walked out, the bookie shook his head and muttered to himself. Kid looks so young. Can't handle his liquor. Betting on Germany to win by more than 5 goals? What a complete lunatic. Damn it. How could I have forgotten about that game? Wyatt was kicking himself, but it wasn't entirely his fault. He wasn't a soccer fan and never watched the games. If that match hadn't made international headlines back in 2014, he never would have remembered it. $900 at 150 to 1 odds. That's $135,000. After the 20% tax, I'll clear just over $100,000. Sitting on the scooter, Wyatt watched the cigar shop owner pull down his metal security gate. He sighed. Okay, be grateful. At least I made it in time. $100,000 in the stock market right now. With a bit of luck in this bull market, I could turn that into $1 million. After giving himself a pep talk, he rode the scooter back to the lounge. Inside, Hannah and Emily had already finished cleaning up. When Leo saw Wyatt return, he hurried over. Where'd you go? It's a secret. You ass. Of course. Wyatt wasn't going to tell Leo he'd just placed a massive bet. He had to keep it quiet. When the results came out tomorrow, he couldn't exactly explain that he could see the future. Thinking about it, the $900 bet was actually pretty reasonable. If he'd thrown 10 or 20,000 at it and won, he probably would have ended up on the national news. Emily, I'll handle the cleaning tomorrow night. Thanks for covering for me today. Emily waved a hand. Don't worry about it. It's getting late. You and your friend should head home. I'll catch a ride with Hannah. Sounds good. See you tomorrow. See ya. Back at home, The first thing Wyatt did was hide the betting slip inside a book. Then he took a shower and flopped onto his bed. The thought that his savings would jump from 2,000 to over 100,000 by morning made his heart race with excitement. That night, Wyatt fell asleep with a sense of nervous anticipation. The next morning, he was woken by his phone buzzing incessantly. He grabbed it and saw a string of messages. Leo, dude. Wyatt, did you see the Germany-Brazil score from last night? It was 7-1. Leo, do you know what that means? Leo, that's like a random amateur League of Legends team beating the Korean champions and not giving up a single kill. Leo, my dad said things in Brazil are a mess. The mob has apparently put out hits on some of the Brazilian players. Leo, whatever. Why am I even telling you this? You don't follow soccer. Leo, you practicing for the driving test today? Wyatt quickly typed back, not today. You go ahead. I've got something to do. Leo, Wyatt shot out of bed, flipped open the book to make sure the slip was still there, and then bolted to the bathroom to get ready. Riley looked at him, curious. Wyatt, why are you up so early? Riley, I have to run an errand this morning, he said, his head poking out of the bathroom, toothbrush in his mouth. I might not be back until noon. Can you handle making rice? Yeah. Okay, around 11, just measure out 1 scoop of the cup in there. Don't add too much water, just enough to cover it up to your first knuckle. Riley nodded obediently. Wyatt finished brushing his teeth and washing his face in record time. He grabbed the betting slip and his ID, put on a face mask, and slipped on his shoes, heading straight for the State Lottery Commission office. Prizes over $50,000 had to be claimed at the state headquarters. His winnings were $135,000, so he had to go to the main office downtown. He took a cab. When he walked in, an employee guided him to the right counter. He'd expected a lot of attention and gawking, but the clerk handling his claim was remarkably calm. Sign the back with your name, phone number, and social security number. Use this format to write a declaration on the copy of your ID. Fill out this form. Please wait a moment. You should receive a text from your bank shortly. Check your phone. Wyatt pulled out his phone just as a notification came through. He confirmed the 6-figure deposit and nodded with a smile. Got it. Thanks so much. It was almost 11 by the time he walked out of the lottery office. He stretched, feeling energized and full of hope for the future. Life was looking up. On the way home, he stopped at a famous local barbecue joint and bought a whole rack of ribs to celebrate. When Riley saw him walk in with the food, she was astonished. Dude, did you win the lottery or something? You can tell I struck it rich just because I bought some ribs? You're so cheap. There's no way you'd buy this unless you did. Wyatt rolled his eyes. Go on, clear the table. Wash your hands, it's time to eat. Okay. That afternoon, Wyatt stayed home. He transferred the $100,000+ into his brokerage account. Following his future knowledge and tuition, he picked several promising stocks and invested the entire sum. The U.S. stock market was already showing signs of an upward trend. Anyone paying attention knew that starting in the third quarter of 2014, the market would begin a rapid ascent that would last for 4 consecutive quarters. For Wyatt, this windfall at this exact moment was like a lifeline to a drowning man, rain in a drought, a light in the darkness. Maple Creek Estates. CeCe sat bored on her sofa, flipping through a graphic novel. She usually didn't mind being alone at home, but now, after just a few pages, the book seemed utterly dull. She closed it, picked up her phone, and opened her messenger app. She only had a handful of contacts. After some thought, she tapped on her chat with Riley and sent a message. CeCe, you home? Riley replied almost instantly. Yup. CeCe, you alone? Riley, Wyatt's here too. CeCe, what's he doing? Riley, I don't know. He went out this morning, and ever since he got back, he's just been staring at his phone and smiling like an idiot. I think he found money on the street or something. Riley. Image attachment Riley. Big sister CeCe. Doesn't he look like a total doofus? CeCe opened the picture Riley had secretly taken. It was Wyatt sitting on the sofa, grinning like a fool. She couldn't help but smile too. CeCe, totally. Riley. Big sister CeCe, my cousin is going to college in New York at the end of August. Where are you going? CeCe was a little embarrassed to answer, but she felt it would be rude not to reply. She typed back hesitantly. CeCe, I'm going to New York too. Riley, you're both going to college in New York? Riley, that's awesome. CeCe, I'm actually really scared of college. Riley, why? CeCe, I'll have to interact with a lot of people. And I read online that dorm relationships can be really complicated. Riley, don't be scared. If you run into any problems, just find my cousin. He's actually pretty reliable. Riley, and I'll tell you a secret. CeCe, what's secret? Riley, my cousin has your chat pinned to the top of his messenger. It's like setting someone as a favorite, so you get a special notification. CeCe's heart started to beat a little faster. The lottery win was a brief, exciting interlude. After 2 days of euphoria, Wyatt's life returned to its repetitive rhythm. More than half a month passed. He passed his final driving test. During that time, he took Riley to CeCe's house twice. Both times, she was home alone. At the end of July, Riley's mom, Susan, returned from her medical exchange program, and Riley had to go home. The kid was surprisingly sentimental. Before she left, she told Wyatt with great solemnity, "Big sister CeCe is a very insecure person. When you're in college, you have to protect her, okay?" Wyatt didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He pinched her cheek. "What does a little kid like you know about insecurity?" "Ugh, stop it." Riley pushed his hand away and put her hands on her hips. "Can you please stop pinching my face?" All right, I don't need you to teach me. Go on, go home with your mom before it gets dark." Wyatt and his mom, Sarah, walked Susan and Riley downstairs. After watching them drive off, Sarah asked with a strange expression, "Who's this big sister CeCe Riley was talking about?" Wyatt froze, then quickly explained, "Just a friend of mine. Didn't you have a crush on a girl named Chloe in high school?" "What?" Wyatt was stunned. "You knew about that?" Sarah snorted proudly. "Is there anything you can hide from me?" "Mom, that's over. I have nothing to do with Chloe anymore." "Oh, really?" Sarah said in a sing-song, sarcastic voice. "In high school, you were always buying her breakfast and giving her those expensive boxes of chocolate. And now you're just over it?" Wyatt had no idea his mom knew about him and Chloe. He explained, shamefaced, "It's really over, Mom. You have to believe me. Did she reject you?" "Hell no. I've seen her true colors. 10 Chloes combined aren't good enough for me now." "Don't worry, Mom. I'll find you a reliable daughter-in-law this time." "What do you mean this time?" Anyway, don't worry about it. I've got it under control. So, when are you going to invite that friend over to the house?" "Which friend?" "The big sister CeCe Riley was talking about." "Mom, we're just friends right now." "Huh." Achoo. CeCe sneezed suddenly. Miranda, sitting on the sofa, looked over with concern. "CeCe, did you get your acceptance letter?" "I did." "When's orientation?" "The 27th." Miranda hesitated for a moment before saying, "I'll try my best to clear my schedule so I can go to New York with you." CeCe didn't reply. Most of the time, Miranda's promises were empty. She went upstairs, sat on her bed, and strummed a few familiar tunes on her guitar. Then she remembered the song she had posted online a while ago. She was curious if anyone had listened to it. She put down her guitar, sat at her desk, and turned on her rarely used computer. She logged in her SoundCloud creator dashboard. The first thing she saw was a red dot with 99 plus on the notification icon. Surprised, she clicked and opened the song's comment section. "Foxaloxy, this song is so good. You're amazing. Jenny's__ playlist. My friend recommended this. Now all I can think about is getting Rich Law Cat Lady 22. Feels like you have a thing against rich people. Haha, but I love this song Honeydew. And all the evil people no longer hold a microphone. That line is so powerful. This is brilliant songwriting." CeCe kept scrolling, but the comments seemed endless. When she saw a notification from the platform that her song was on the SoundCloud New and Hot chart, her mind went blank. When she'd uploaded the song, she never imagined it would get this kind of attention. More importantly, because of streaming rights, platforms like SoundCloud paid royalties to artists. The song had already earned her over $300. CeCe sat staring at the screen for a long time. When she finally snapped out of it, she grabbed her phone and sent a message to Wyatt. "CeCe, you there?" "Wyatt, yup." "CeCe, that song you wrote. I think it's a hit." "Wyatt, what?" "CeCe, If I Were Rich Someday. It's number 21 on the SoundCloud New and Hot chart right now." "Wyatt, for real?" "CeCe, yeah." "Wyatt, I'm gonna go look." 5 minutes later. "Wyatt, see? G. Is that the name you used?" "CeCe, MHM." "Wyatt, so what are you thinking now?" "CeCe, I don't know." "Wyatt, do you want to be a singer?" "CeCe." "Wyatt, I'm just thinking I'm such a genius. If I wrote a few more songs for you, I could probably make you the next Taylor Swift." "CeCe, you're dreaming. I don't want to be in the entertainment industry." "Wyatt, aren't you an arts major? Don't all arts majors want to be famous?" "CeCe, I don't." Wyatt figured as much. For someone as socially anxious as CeCe, being in the spotlight would be impossible. He quickly changed the subject. "Wyatt, Riley went home." "CeCe, I know." "Wyatt, if Riley's not there, would you still let me come over?" "CeCe, you could come over right now if you wanted." Just as Wyatt was about to get excited, CeCe threw a bucket of cold water on him. "CeCe, my mom's home right now." "Wyatt, you messing with me, right? I was just about to ask my boss for time off." CeCe let out a small laugh. "CeCe, I'm gonna take a shower." "Wyatt, want a video chat?" "CeCe." "Wyatt, kidding. I have to get back to work too." CeCe tossed her phone on the bed, pouted, and muttered, "Jerk." Wyatt was genuinely surprised that If I Were Rich Someday had taken off, but he had no intention of pursuing a career in music. He knew a lot of songs, but none of them completely. Thanks to the rise of apps like TikTok in his past life, he mostly just knew the chorus of most songs. He could probably remember fewer than 20 full songs released after 2014. That wasn't enough to build a career, and eventually, his well of original material would run dry. He felt a little guilty toward the original artist, but it probably wasn't a huge deal. The artist's most famous songs were others anyway. If he wanted to make money, he had better ways. The bull market of 2014 and 2015. The rise of live streaming in 2016. The sharing economy in 2017. Short-form video in 2018. Not to mention gaming, AI, renewable energy. He held the keys to the next 10 years of business trends. What could be more profitable than investing? August flew by even faster. It was worth noting that during the month, 2 of the stocks Wyatt had bought hit their daily growth limit for a week straight. By mid-August, the assets in his brokerage account had already grown to over $150,000. His plan to become a millionaire was more than halfway complete. College orientation was usually at the end of August, since freshmen had to go through military-style training camps. For Wyatt, it just meant his summer job was coming to an end. On the night of the 24th, after the last shift, Vivian had Emily lock the front door. The 4 of them, Vivian, Hannah, Emily, and Wyatt, sat down at table. Vivian handed Wyatt an envelope with his final month's pay. "Boss, is this too much?" Wyatt could tell, just by the thickness, that it was more than his salary. Vivian smiled. "Part of it is a back-to-school bonus for me personally. You're off to college. You can use the money to buy some nice clothes." "Boss, I couldn't possibly accept." Hannah rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. With a skin as thick as yours, what's there to be embarrassed about?" "Hannah, that hurts." Yeah, my mistake." Wyatt grabbed a beer and 4 glasses, pouring one for each of them. He raised his glass. "Thanks to you, boss, and my 2 big sisters here for taking care of me these past 2 months. I'll definitely come back and visit when I have time." "At least you have a conscience," Hannah said. The 4 of them clinked glasses, all lamenting how quickly time had passed. None of them, not Vivian, Hannah, or Emily, really wanted Wyatt to leave. He brought a certain energy to the lounge. But all good things come to an end, and Wyatt was leaving for college, a new chapter in his life. After midnight, Vivian finally waved a hand. All right, it's getting late. Let's call it a night." Wyatt stood up and opened his arms to Emily. "Emily, give me a hug." Emily didn't hesitate, stepping forward to give him a warm hug. Hannah smiled and gave him a hug as well. "And my favorite boss. My most loving boss." Wyatt and Vivian finally embraced. Seeing that he was holding on for a little too long, Emily pouted. "I feel like he only hugged us, so he could have an excuse to hug the boss." Hannah laughed. "You don't have to suspect. That's definitely what he was thinking." Vivian had been feeling a bit sentimental, but Wyatt's lingering hug broke the mood. She rolled her eyes. "Are you planning on holding on all night?" He finally let go with a sheepish grin. "I'm just going to miss you guys." Vivian gave him a playful glare and waved him away. "All right, get out of here. Don't act like this is the last time we'll ever see each other." Wyatt smiled, took one last look around the lounge, and left with a final wave. Hannah and Emily left together as well. Vivian sat back down, one hand propping up her chin, the other tracing patterns on the table as she stared out at the night. A wave of loneliness washed over her. In your 30s, goodbyes were the hardest part. After a good night's sleep, Wyatt woke up the next morning and called CeCe. Her phone was on the sofa in the living room. Miranda heard it ring and picked it up. The caller ID read, "Goofball." The name immediately made Miranda think of Wyatt. She hesitated, not sure if she should answer. Hearing footsteps, she quickly put the phone back where she found it. CeCe came downstairs, saw the missed call from Wyatt, and took her phone upstairs to call him back. "I told you to just text. Why are you calling?" "My Wi-Fi is acting up," Wyatt lied. "If you have something to say, say it. My job at the lounge is over. Want to go to the mall this afternoon? To buy something?" "Yeah, I don't even own a suitcase." "You're heading to New York soon too, right? You probably need to get some things." CeCe glanced at the mountain of living essentials piled up in her room. Rebecca had bought them all for her a few days ago. She didn't need anything. She was silent for a moment, then finally said, "Yeah. So, see you this afternoon?" "Okay." Beep, beep, beep. The line went dead. When CeCe came back downstairs, Miranda asked tentatively, "Who was that?" "Wyatt," CeCe answered honestly. If it weren't for Wyatt, her phone might not ring for weeks at a time. Miranda wouldn't have believed her if she'd said it was someone else. "He asked you out." "MHM." "CeCe, I need to tell you something." Miranda took her daughter's hand. "You leave for New York the day after tomorrow, right?" "I have to leave on a business trip early tomorrow morning, but I already called your father. He promised he'd take you to New York on the 27th. CeCe's face turned to ice. "I don't want him to take me." Your father rarely agrees to something like this, Miranda said quickly. Just let him take you. No. CeCe pulled her hand away, grabbed her phone, and stormed upstairs. Miranda sighed and took out her phone to text Charles. Miranda, your daughter doesn't want you to take her to New York. Charles, it's her first time going to college. If you don't take her and I don't take her, how is she supposed to get there? Miranda, she's very firm about it. Charles, I'll come over tonight. Make enough dinner for one more person. Miranda hesitated, then replied with a single word. Okay. That afternoon, Wyatt took a taxi straight to the entrance of Maple Creek Estates. But since he wasn't a resident, he was stopped by the security guard. He had no choice but to text CeCe. When she saw the messages, she immediately came out to the main gate to let him in. Why did you come straight here? She asked. Wyatt shrugged. I felt bad making Rebecca drive all the way out to pick me up every time. CeCe snorted. You? Feeling bad? Of course. Just a warning, CeCe said. My mom's home. I'm not scared, Wyatt grinned. It's not like she's going to chase me out with a broom, right? As they were talking, they walked into the yard. Just as Wyatt reached the front door, Miranda came out to greet them with a smile. Wyatt, you're here. Wyatt was taken aback by the warm welcome. Hi, Aunt Miranda. Come on in. CeCe had no idea what had gotten into her mother. Why was she suddenly so friendly to Wyatt? She used to call him by his full name. Now, it was Wyatt? He slipped off his shoes and stepped inside. Miranda smiled. Have a seat. Would you like some water? He doesn't need any, CeCe answered for him. We're about to leave. Should I call Rebecca to come drive you? Miranda asked. Before CeCe could reply, Wyatt jumped in. Aunt Miranda, if you trust me, I can drive. You? Yes. I got my license over the summer. Miranda frowned. Weren't you working a summer job? How did you have time to get a license? You can always find time if you squeeze it in, Wyatt said with a smile. I passed both my road tests on the first try. The instructor said I was a natural. Hearing this, Miranda's impression of Wyatt improved even more. Getting his license during the day while working at night. Such a motivated young man was a rare find. CeCe, for her part, trusted him completely. She tossed in the car keys and went to change her shoes. Seeing that Miranda still looked a little worried, Wyatt added with a confident smile, Don't worry, Aunt Miranda. I wouldn't do it if I wasn't sure I could handle it. Miranda nodded. As they were about to leave, she called out, Wyatt, can you have CeCe back by 6 tonight? Our family wants to have dinner together. After all, she's leaving for college in a couple of days. No problem. Have you noticed your mom's attitude toward me has gotten a lot better? Wyatt asked. No, Chloe denied instantly. Wyatt grinned. The last 2 times, she just called me by my name. But just now at your house, she called me Wyatt. Chloe didn't want to talk about it. That doesn't mean anything, she cut in. Just focus on driving. Relax. I'm a pro at this. Heck, Wyatt drove straight to the mall. He went to a luggage store first to buy a new suitcase, then to Target for some essentials. The whole thing took less than half an hour. As they walked out of the store, Wyatt said with a laugh, I was originally going to ask you out for proper dinner today, but since your mom wants me to bring you home tonight, things are a little awkward now. Chloe didn't believe a word of it. In her mind, Wyatt was and always would be a goofy, cheap, shameless flirt. Him treating her to dinner? Yeah, right. Wyatt dragged the new suitcase along beside her. Hey, don't look at me like that. I've made a little money these past 2 months. I'm not a broke loser anymore. There's a Starbucks on the first floor, she challenged. You're buying. No problem. Wyatt agreed, for once, without a second of hesitation. Just after 5, Charles left the bank and drove to Maple Creek Estates. He was once the master of this house, but now he didn't even have a key. He could only stand at the front door and ring the bell. Miranda opened the door, saw it was him, and immediately turned around to sit back down on the sofa. Charles grabbed a pair of slippers for himself. He scanned the living room, his eyebrow raised. Chloe upstairs? She's out. You're home. So why did you let Rebecca take her out? You barely have any time with her as it is. She went out with Wyatt, Miranda stated, cutting him off. What? Charles's eyes widened. He strode forward. You allowed it? Miranda, are you insane? If this keeps up, have you thought about what could happen? Seeing Charles so flustered and furious actually improved Miranda's mood. She said calmly, All I care about is Chloe being happy. You, Charles pointed a finger at her, his voice tight with anger. You're being completely irrational. Miranda just let out a cold laugh and ignored him. The atmosphere in the living room grew heavy. They sat in silence for a long time before Charles couldn't help but glance at his watch. When is Chloe coming home? Soon. Rebecca didn't come. How'd they go out? Wyatt drove. He can drive? Didn't he just graduate high school? He already has his license. Charles's scalp tingled. He just got his license, and you dare let him drive your daughter around? I swear you've lost your mind. The words had barely left his mouth when a car horn honked in the driveway. Charles rushed to the door and threw it open just as Chloe and Wyatt were getting out of the car. "If you're free, I'll take you out for a real dinner tomorrow," Wyatt was saying. "Okay, then let's get seafood. King crab, giant lobster, the kind of meal that costs thousands." "What? Are you trying to bankrupt me?" "TCH, I knew you were too cheap. Just give me some time. When I'm a millionaire, if you want to eat bald eagle, I'll make it happen." "Heh, get real." Chloe was about to head inside when she looked up and saw Charles standing in the doorway. The smile on her face vanished in less than 2 seconds. Wyatt saw him too, still holding a grudge from their last encounter. He didn't even offer a Mr. Chun. Instead, he looked at Chloe almost defiantly and said, "I'm gonna head out. Talk to you tonight." Chloe gave a slight nod. Wyatt handed her the car keys. Just as he was about to leave, Miranda walked to the door, pushing past Charles with a warm smile on her face. "Wyatt, why don't you stay and have dinner with us?" "Wyatt, Charles, Chloe." 3 sets of eyes fell on Miranda, all of them filled with varying degrees of shock. Wyatt scratched his head and smiled. I wouldn't want to impose." Chloe glanced at her father, then turned her head. "Stop pretending. Since when are you shy?" With that, she walked inside. After a moment of awkward hesitation, Wyatt followed her, brushing past Charles, who was left standing in the doorway like a statue. "Dinner's ready," Miranda announced. "I'll just get the soup. You two go ahead and sit down." Wyatt leaned in and whispered to Chloe, "Where's the bathroom? I need to wash my hands." Chloe whispered back, "Follow me." The two of them disappeared into the downstairs bathroom together. Charles watched them go, his eyes practically bugging out of his head, his heart bleeding. How the hell did a thief manage to sneak into my house over one summer vacation? Inside the bathroom. "Your dad's looking at me like he wants to kill me." "Are you scared?" "What's there to be scared of? As long as your mom likes me, that's all that matters. Just try not to talk too much at the table." "Yes, ma'am." Goofball. After washing their hands, they came out and sat down at the dining table. Miranda brought out the final dish, a pork rib soup. Chloe went to the kitchen for bowls and silverware. She picked up a bowl and was about to serve rice. Seeing this, Charles stood up. "I can get it myself." Chloe ignored him completely. She filled a bowl and, right in front of her father, handed it directly to Wyatt. Wyatt was a little surprised, but took it with a thanks. Charles felt like his insides were being torn apart. Of course, Chloe was doing it on purpose. If her father hadn't been there, she never would have served Wyatt. When she caught the dark expression on Charles's face out of the corner of her eye, a flicker of satisfaction went through her, but her own expression remained icy. Charles forced his emotions down and took the initiative. "Chloe, your mother and I have discussed it. The day after tomorrow, I'll take you to school. I've already cleared my schedule. We'll head out early, get you registered in the morning, and in the afternoon, we can tour the campus. If you think the dorms are too crowded, Dad can pull some strings and find you an apartment near the school." Chloe remained silent. Seeing this, Miranda tried to smooth things over. "Chloe, just say what you're thinking. If you really don't want your father to take you to New York, I could take time off work. Or I can have Rebecca drive you." Chloe said stubbornly, "I don't need anyone. I can go by myself." Charles immediately interjected, "What freshman goes to orientation all by themselves?" "Chloe, don't be difficult. Just listen to Dad on this, okay?" Seeing that Chloe still wouldn't speak, Charles was getting desperate, and Miranda was out of ideas. It was Wyatt who saw the deadlock and timidly spoke up. "Chloe, why don't you just come to New York with me?" "I can." He didn't even get to finish. "Okay." Chloe cut him off. Charles clutched his chest, suddenly finding it hard to breathe. "Well," Wyatt smiled, "I was planning on heading to New York on the 28th, but going a day early isn't a problem. One of my best friends is coming with me. He's also going to college in the city." Miranda pressed. "Aren't your parents going with you?" "I told them not to. It's just registration. No need to make a big production out of it. Besides, Riverwood isn't exactly next door to New York." Seeing the worry on Miranda's face, he added, "Don't worry, Mrs. Jiang. I'll make sure Chloe gets to her school first. Once she's settled in her dorm, then I'll head to my own campus." Clank. Charles slammed his bowl down on the table, got up without a word, and stormed over to the sofa. The man who commanded respect as Director Chan at the bank was now so choked with frustration he couldn't utter a single word. Seeing this, Wyatt wolfed down his food in a few quick bites and stood up. "Mrs. Jiang, it's getting late. I should be heading home. I'll see you out," Miranda said, standing as well. "No need. I can get back on my own. But I want to chat with you a little more," Miranda insisted. "Oh, okay then." Miranda and Wyatt left the house together, leaving father and daughter alone in the living room. Charles immediately turned to his daughter. "Chloe, tell me, are you doing this just to spite me? Or do you actually like that Wyatt kid?" Chloe's movements froze. She remained silent. Meanwhile, The atmosphere in the car was entirely different. Wyatt, would you like to drive? Miranda offered. Sure. As he took the wheel, she remarked, you handle the car like you've been driving for years, not like someone who just got their license. Wyatt laughed. Maybe I just have a knack for it. Miranda continued smoothly. Why didn't you wait to get your license in college? Working a summer job, getting your license. Wasn't it exhausting? It was all right. I have my own plans for college, and I figure it's better to get things done early if I can. Miranda smiled. Planning out your college years already. It seems you really are more mature than most kids your age. Wyatt wasn't sure how to respond, so he just smiled back. Everything so far had just been preamble. Sensing the time was right, Miranda asked directly, Wyatt, I'd like to know where things stand between you and my daughter. We were friends. Now, maybe good friends. And the next step. I know what you're asking, ma'am, Wyatt said, but I have to be honest. It's not impossible. Miranda smiled. You're very candid. Wyatt gave a wry grin. Mainly because you wouldn't believe me if I said anything else. You should know, Chloe hasn't had many friends growing up. Your appearance in her life, for me, has both its pros and cons. The pro is that she finally has a friend. But the con is, Wyatt finished her sentence. The con is that you don't know what my intentions are with your daughter, right? Miranda was taken aback for a second, then slowly nodded. Ma'am, you can rest assured. I'm a man of my word. Even when we're in New York, my promise still holds. I won't do anything I shouldn't be doing at my age. He paused, then continued. To be honest, before I went to your house, I never felt insecure. But after that first visit, I realized just how big the gap is between your daughter and me. But I want to say, I'm still young. The future is full of possibilities. I will wait until I have the ability, the confidence, and the standing to be with your daughter properly. Only then will I try. Before that day comes, your daughter and I will only be good friends. Ma'am, does that set your mind at ease? Miranda was surprised by his lengthy, heartfelt speech. She had been navigating the professional world for decades, had met all sorts of people, and could usually tell truth from lies. To her, Wyatt's words sounded utterly sincere and convincing. It was as if a weight had been lifted from her heart. She smiled. Wyatt, when that day comes, you'll have my support. Maybe that day will come sooner than you think, Wyatt said, turning to look at her, that roguish, confident smile returning to his face. Miranda's lips curved into a smile of her own. She was beginning to understand why he and her daughter could be friends. That night, Wyatt had Chloe text him her ID number so he could book their train tickets in advance. After she sent it, she asked curiously, what did you and my mom talk about tonight? Nothing much. She just asked me to take good care of you in New York. Liar. You're making things up again. I'm not. Anyway, there are still plenty of train tickets. We should be able to get seats together. Let's meet at 8:30 the day after tomorrow. I assume Rebecca will be driving you. Yeah. After their brief chat, Wyatt called Leo. As soon as the call connected, Wyatt said, Leo, my man, change of plans. We're going to New York on the 27th th. Dude, what the hell? I thought we agreed on the 28th. My girlfriend is coming to New York with us on the 27th th. Bullshit. I don't believe you. For real, I swear. If I'm lying, I'll never watch porn again. Damn, dude. You don't have to make an oath that's serious. Text me your ID number. I'm buying the tickets now. Be at my place by 8 a.m. the day after tomorrow. How are we getting to the station? Don't worry, it's all arranged. The next day, Wyatt went with David and Sarah to visit his grandparents and his maternal grandparents in the countryside. They should have gone sooner, but things had been too hectic. When they learned he was leaving for New York the next day, both grandmothers tried to give him a red envelope. Wyatt was fine taking money from his aunt, but he felt awkward taking cash from his grandmothers. But the two old women were stubborn, insisting on stuffing the bills into his hands. Finally, Sarah, unable to watch any longer, took the money on his behalf. When you're working and making your own money, she said, remember to take care of your grandparents. Of course I will. Back home that night, Wyatt started packing. Sarah, still worried, checked his suitcase several times. Honey, do you want her dad to drive you to the station tomorrow? No, I already have a ride. You have to wash your clothes the same day you wear them. It's so hot. They'll get funky if you leave them for even a day. I know. You always commuted for high school. I hope you'll be able to adjust to living at college. I'll be fine. When you get to campus, text me, so I know you're safe. Okay, I wonder if you'll like the food there. The school cafeteria has everything. If you're short on money, you know you can call me. I know. Tomorrow, Mom, that's enough. Wyatt cut her off. If you keep nagging, I'm never going to get any sleep. Seriously, relax. I'm not 3 years old. Oh, so now I'm a nag, am I? Wyatt gently pushed Sarah out of his room, then cupped her face and planted a kiss on her forehead. Good night, Mom. Love you. You silly boy. A mother's heart worries when her child travels far. That was exactly how Sarah felt. She barely slept a wink, but she still got up early the next morning to make Wyatt a huge breakfast. At 8 o'clock, Leo arrived right on time, dragging a massive black suitcase and wearing a huge backpack. Wyatt glanced at the time and said to his parents, "Dad, Mom, you guys can head to work. Don't wait for me. I'll lock up when I leave. Don't forget anything. Don't worry, I've got it all. I'll do one last check before I go. Text me when you get to New York." "I know." David, seeing Sarah's reluctance to leave, said with a half-exasperated smile, "He's 18 years old. Stop fussing so much. Let's go." Leo dropped his backpack on the sofa. As soon as David and Sarah left, he asked, "Wyatt, where's your girlfriend?" "Hang on. She'll be here any minute." Leo's parents had wanted to go to New York with him, but when he heard Wyatt was going alone, he decided he would too, partly to prove he was an adult, and partly because he didn't want to be outdone by Wyatt. Now, hearing Wyatt's words, Leo was dying of curiosity to see who this mystery girlfriend was. They had been inseparable for 3 years of high school. If Wyatt so much as farted, Leo knew what he'd had for lunch. He figured if it was a classmate or someone from their school, he would definitely know her. At 8:25, Wyatt's phone buzzed. He glanced at the message and said, "She's here. Let's go down." Wyatt did a final check, phone, wallet, ID, acceptance letter, then headed downstairs with Leo. At the entrance to their neighborhood, Leo craned his neck, looking left and right. "Where is she?" he asked, completely confused. "Stop dawdling and get in the car." Rebecca saw Wyatt and Leo coming with their luggage and got out to help open the trunk of the Lexus minivan. When Wyatt headed for the car, Leo hurried to follow. The trunk was massive, more than enough for 3 people's luggage. "Leo, you ride shotgun." "Oh, okay." Wyatt slid open the door and got in. Chloe, wearing a light blue baseball cap, instinctively ducked her head when she saw Wyatt get in with Leo. Even though Leo was Wyatt's best friend, to her, he was still a stranger. But Wyatt made the introduction anyway. "Chloe, this goofball up front is my best friend Leo. We didn't exactly grow up in diapers together, but we've been in the same class from elementary through middle school. We're tight." Leo finally turned to look at Chloe. He barely got a clear look at her face before he was already cursing Wyatt in his head. "You lucky son of a bitch. How did you land a girlfriend this gorgeous?" "I swear to God." Chloe just gave a slight nod as a greeting. Leo was too embarrassed to say anything out loud, so he pulled out his phone and texted Wyatt. "Are you even human?" "Wyatt." "Leo, spill. How did you two get together?" "Wyatt." "None of your damn business." Leo was still furiously typing a response, but Wyatt had already put his phone away. He turned to Chloe and said, "It's a 5-hour train ride. We'll probably get there around 2 in the afternoon." "Okay," Chloe mumbled, then let out a small yawn. She covered her mouth, then slowly closed her eyes. A short while later, the minivan pulled up to the train station. Wyatt was traveling lighter than Leo. He just had one suitcase and a crossbody bag. The suitcase held his clothes and daily necessities. The important stuff was in the bag. After the 3 of them got out, Leo finally realized that Chloe was nearly 5'7", not much shorter than him. Her figure, face, and style were all a perfect 10. He desperately wanted to ask her, "Hey, what on earth do you see in Wyatt? His height? His looks? Bet he's funny? The dude's broke." Besides her own bag, Chloe had 2 suitcases, one large and one small. One was filled with clothes, the other with essentials. After Wyatt got his own suitcase out, he grabbed both of Chloe's from the trunk. "I'll get the big one," he said, naturally taking both. "You just take the small one." Chloe didn't argue. She grabbed the smaller suitcase and headed toward the station entrance. It was the peak of college move-in season, so the station was packed. It wasn't Chloe's first time traveling far, but it was her first time without an adult. Leo had barely ever left the state. If it weren't for Wyatt, he'd be completely lost. Wyatt navigated the crowd like a pro, leading them to the ticket kiosks. "Give me your IDs. I'll get the tickets. You guys watch the bags here." "Okay." Wyatt got in line by himself. Back in 2014, you still had to print a paper ticket from a machine before boarding. In a few years, e-tickets would become standard, and you just need to scan your ID to get in. The line moved forward until Wyatt was next. Behind him, 2 middle-aged men were talking loudly and obnoxiously. "Why is it so crowded today? Colleges are starting up. These are all students. What's so great about college students? My nephew dropped out after middle school, and now he's working construction with me. Pulls in 150, 200 grand a year, easy. There are so many college grads these days. How many of them are making over 150K? That's not really the same thing. Huh, what's the point of studying? They'll probably graduate and end up working for a guy like me who never finished school." Wyatt, stone-faced, took the 3 IDs and printed out their tickets. Hearing the conversation behind him, he silently tapped the screen, went into the settings, and changed the kiosk's language to Spanish. Let's go, got the tickets. Wyatt quickly led Chloe and Leo toward the main terminal. Back at the kiosk, is this machine broken? I can't understand any of this. I think. That's Spanish. Can you read it? How would I know how to read that? I told you I never finished school. Hey, can somebody come over here and help me with this thing? All around them, a crowd of college-bound students pretended not to hear a thing, smirking as they watched the two men give up and move to the back of the line at a different kiosk. Perfect timing. Let's go, they're boarding. As they reached the waiting hall, the big screen showed that the boarding for their train had just begun. The three of them found the end of the line. Our seats are all together, Wyatt told them. Leo, you take the aisle. I'll be in the middle. Leo looked aggrieved. Why do I have to sit on the aisle? Everyone knows the window seats are the best, and the aisle seats are the worst. Wyatt shot him a look. If you don't take the aisle, who will? There was only one girl among them. Chloe would obviously get the window seat, which meant Wyatt, as her boyfriend, would naturally sit in the middle. Leo had no choice but to swallow his complaint. The line moved forward, and they scanned their tickets one by one. Wyatt knew the layout of the station perfectly and led them straight to their train car. After stowing their luggage on the overhead rack, the three of them settled into their seats. Wyatt, playing the part of the responsible big brother, instructed, text your parents. Let them know we're on the train. Leo obediently took out his phone, snapped a picture, and sent it to his parents. Wyatt also pulled out his phone and sent a message to his dad. Wyatt, Dad, I'm on the train. His dad, David, was leisurely sipping his morning coffee at the office. He saw the message and quickly replied. David, okay, got it. Wyatt, Dad, I always hear you coughing at home. I'm not there anymore, so take care of yourself. You need to smoke less. Reading that, David felt a warmth spread through his chest. His eyes grew misty. He held back tears as he typed. David, my son's all grown up. Dad is so proud. Don't you worry about me. Wyatt, I took the 3 cartons of Marlboros from the house. Figured it'd help you control yourself. David, 60s. Wyatt saw the 60-second voice note from his dad and didn't dare press play. Next, he sent a couple of messages to his mom, Sarah. When she didn't reply immediately, he turned his attention to Chloe. Why aren't you sending any messages? I don't want to, Chloe said. Wyatt sighed. Fine, I'll do it for you. He raised his phone again, aiming the camera at himself and Chloe. When she saw him about to take a picture, she deliberately turned her head to face the window. Can you please just cooperate for 1 second? No, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to stand up right now and yell Chloe is my girlfriend. If you dare, you're dead, Chloe said through clenched teeth. Okay, 3, 2, 1, look at the camera. As if afraid the thick-skinned Wyatt might actually do it, Chloe finally glanced at the camera lens. The picture was taken. Wyatt sent it to Miranda. Wyatt, ma'am, we're on the train. Miranda replied instantly okay. Wyatt, I'll let you know when we get off. Miranda, thank you. Miranda smiled, exited the chat, and saw a flood of early morning messages from Charles asking for updates. She hesitated for a moment, then forwarded him the screenshot of her chat with Wyatt. After the train started moving, Chloe closed her eyes to rest. It was Leo's first time traveling so far from home, and he was too excited to sleep. He saw Wyatt staring at his phone and leaned over for a peek. What are you looking at? Stock market news. You wouldn't get it. You son of a bitch. Always trying to act cool in front of me. Leo lowered his voice. Come on, tell me. How'd you two really meet? It was a long ride, and just sitting there was boring. Wyatt decided to spin a tale. It's a long story. Remember the night of our class reunion? Yeah, you left early, right? Well, after I left the karaoke bar, I didn't go straight home. I wanted to walk off the booze a bit. It was a dark and stormy night, and I was walking home when suddenly, I heard the most beautiful sound of guitar. It was like something out of a movie. I was drunk and miserable, feeling all emo, when all of a sudden, I hear this guitar over the water. Leo rolled his eyes. Can you just get to the point? So, I followed the sound of the guitar down to the lake. Wyatt continued. She was there, all alone, playing her guitar by the water. I just sat down nearby and listened. I was pretty drunk, my head was spinning, so at first, I didn't really notice what she looked like. After a while, the breeze sobered me up a bit, and that's when I realized how beautiful she was. But you know me, man, I've got my pride. I couldn't just go up and hit on her. It was only when I was stumbling over to a trash can to puke my guts out that she came over and handed me a tissue. After that, I guess she saw how devilishly handsome I was, and she asked for my number. Sitting right next to him, Chloe wanted nothing more than to stomp on his foot again. That jerk, spouting such nonsense. Under her baseball cap, her face was bright red. Fortunately, Leo was completely unconvinced. You're full of it. She asked for your number? You must have been dreaming. Don't believe me then. If I believe you, I'm an idiot. Wyatt quickly added, she has a bunch of other really hot friends. You want me to get her to set you up? Leo's eyes widened. For real? Dad, you promise? Depends on how you behave. Leo scrambled to his feet. I'm going to go to the bathroom and see if they're selling drinks up front. Wyatt watched him go, a silly grin on his face. He was about to laugh when sharp pain shot through his side. Chloe had reached over, grabbed a piece of flesh on his side, and twisted it hard. Ah, Wyatt winced, forcing down the pain as he looked at the culprit. What was that for? Chloe tilted her head up slightly, glaring at him. If you ever say that nonsense again, you're dead, she said fiercely. Wyatt rubbed a sore spot. Couldn't you have just pretended you didn't hear? No, Chloe demanded. And another thing, what friends? I was just messing with him. Just then, Chloe saw Leo returning in the distance. She quickly pulled her cap down and went back to pretending to be asleep. Leo came back holding 3 bottles of some sugary yogurt drink. He handed 2 to Wyatt and asked with a grin. So, when are you going to introduce me to her friends? Can't rush these things, man. We have to create a chance encounter first. School hasn't even started. What's your hurry? True. Leo then asked, Hey Wyatt, I forgot to ask. I know on a car, R is for reverse and D is for drive. But on a train, what's the MTK for? Amtrak. And what's accelerated? You ass, you're messing with me again. Just as Wyatt predicted, it was already after 2 in the afternoon when the train pulled into the station. Stepping onto the platform, they were met with a surging sea of people. I don't know, Leo remarked. Other than being more crowded, it doesn't feel that different from Riverwood. There's a saying, the New York you arrive in carrying duffel bags off a long-haul bus is not the same New York you arrive in carrying a leather suitcase from an international flight. The train station was just a tiny corner of the city's vastness. Wyatt kneed Leo lightly in the butt. Stop staring and let's get out of the station. The 3 of them followed the crowd out of Penn Station, staring up at the towering skyscrapers and the traffic-choked asphalt avenues. Wyatt felt a thrill of excitement. His feelings were completely different from Leo's and Chloe's. Leo was filled with the dazed confusion of a small-town kid in the big city. Chloe was worried about fitting into the new college life ahead of her. But Wyatt felt no confusion at all, nor did he worry about fitting in. In fact, he had been waiting for this day for a very long time. Away from his parents, ready to build something from nothing. For the past 2+ months since the SATs, Wyatt had been dreaming of making his mark in this dazzling metropolis. And that day had finally come. Chloe's and Leo's schools were both in the same general area, about a half-hour subway ride away. Wyatt's school, Fordham, was up in the Bronx. Getting to either of their schools would take him about an hour by subway, but only 40 minutes or so by car. My registration isn't until tomorrow, so I'll take you guys first. Leo, you'll need to transfer to the D train and get off at Fordham Road. Your campus is right there. I'm leaving you on your own after that. Call me if you have any problems. Got it. Let's go. Time to brave the subway. The New York subway is always packed, and with freshmen moving in, it was overflowing with college students. Wyatt led them onto a train and found a spot in the corner. Seeing Chloe swaying unsteadily, Wyatt patted his own arm. Hold on to this. Just as he said it, the train lurched again. Chloe nearly stumbled into him. She looked up at him, then pulled her baseball cap lower and placed her hand on his arm. After a long, shaky ride, they arrived at their stop. Wyatt led Chloe straight towards the Juilliard School. Chloe had a terrible sense of direction. If she had come alone, she probably wouldn't have been able to tell north from south. So, wherever Wyatt went, she followed. After getting out of the subway and walking for about 10 minutes, they were finally standing at the entrance to Juilliard. Art schools are generally smaller. Juilliard's student body was only a few thousand people, fewer than their high school, so the campus wasn't huge. To the left of the main entrance was the Opera House, and to the right were various academic and administrative buildings. A short walk-in revealed an 18-story building, one of Juilliard's landmarks. Further on were faculty buildings, and at the very back were the student dorms, cafeteria, and practice fields. Wyatt walked through the campus as if he'd been there 100 times, leading Chloe confidently. Along the way, they saw banners welcoming new students. There were also student volunteers, upperclassmen, stationed around to help. A group of them spotted Wyatt and Chloe from a distance. If Chloe had come alone, several of the guys would have surely swarmed her, eagerly offering to carry her bags and show her where to go. But with Wyatt walking beside her, no one approached. This was one of the reasons Wyatt had insisted on bringing her. He wanted to send a clear message. She was already taken, so everyone else could back off. Chloe, of course, was oblivious to Wyatt's little scheme. Already feeling a bit of social anxiety, she just noticed all the people looking at her and quickened her pace to keep up with Wyatt. Walking side by side, they looked more like a couple than most actual couples. Wyatt took Chloe to pay her tuition first, then to pick up her bedding, pillow, and other supplies. Once all the paperwork was done, he finally led her to the girls' dorm building. The dorm supervisor hadn't started her shift yet. This meant if Wyatt wanted to go up, there was nothing to stop him. But he didn't go straight in. He looked down at Chloe and asked in a low voice, "Do you need me to go up with you?" Before Chloe could answer, he added, "If I go up with you, your roommates will definitely assume I'm your boyfriend. And no matter how you try to explain it, it'll sound like a weak denial. But there's an upside for you. It probably means no other guys at school will try to hit on you or bother you." Maybe it was the heat, or maybe something else, but Chloe's face was flushed. She paused for a moment before saying to Wyatt, "But we have to agree on 3 rules. I'm listening. First, you're only allowed to be my boyfriend. Pretend to be my boyfriend for today. Second, you are not allowed to say anything stupid later. Not one single word you're not supposed to say. Third, if I text you, you have to reply instantly. And on weekends, you have to be on call." Wyatt laughed. The first 2, no problem. Replying instantly to texts, I could do that too. But being on call every weekend? Isn't that a bit much? Wyatt was Chloe's only friend. Right now, she only felt safe when she was with him. She hoped that in college, they could stay in touch just like before and see each other regularly. "You're the one who told my mom you'd take care of me." Chloe tilted her head up, mustering all her courage to say the words. Her flushed cheeks looked so soft you could probably squeeze water from them. "I'll try my best, okay?" "My best," Wyatt quickly conceded. Chloe pouted, then moved to lift her suitcase up the stairs. But there were 2 steps in her way, and she was struggling. Wyatt saw this and rushed forward. "Let me get that. You just carry the bag of stuff the school gave you." Chloe immediately let go. Wyatt left his own suitcase in the first-floor lobby, then grabbed both of Chloe's. Like her personal assistant, he followed her up to the second floor. Chloe stood at the door to her room, hesitating. She could already hear voices inside, more than one. That meant her roommates had probably all arrived, and she was the last one. The thought of meeting 3 strangers made her heart flutter like a trapped bird. Wyatt, however, stepped right up and knocked twice. Inside the room, a girl with short hair stood up. "That must be our last roommate." "I'll get it." The short-haired girl opened the door and froze for a second when she saw Wyatt and Chloe standing there. She looked at Wyatt and asked, "And you are?" A warm smile spread across Wyatt's face. He reached over, took Chloe's small hand in his, and said, "I'm dropping my girlfriend off at school. Hey, is it cool if I come in?" Chloe looked up at him in astonishment, her heart going wild. "Isabel, Sophie, quick, a hot guy's here. Fix yourselves up," the short-haired girl whispered urgently after quickly shutting the door. 10 seconds later, the door opened again. The short-haired girl made a welcoming gesture. "Please come in," she said with a huge grin. In music school, the gender ratio was heavily skewed. Guys were already a hot commodity, and handsome guys were the hottest of them all. And as luck would have it, Wyatt was a handsome guy. As the door opened, Wyatt caught a faint, pleasant fragrance, probably some kind of osmanthus air freshener. It was nice, not overpowering. Inside, besides the short-haired girl, 2 other girls were sitting together, their eyes all fixed on Wyatt. All 3 of them were attractive. Students at art schools often come from well-off families, and their fashionable clothes reflected that. "Hey, how's it going?" Wyatt said, greeting them with easy confidence. He pulled Chloe closer to his side. "This is my girlfriend, Chloe. She's a bit on the shy side, so I hope you guys will look out for her." The short-haired girl was the first to introduce herself. "Hi, I'm Ashley." The girl sitting on the left side of the bed was dressed daringly in a beige tank top that showed off both her cleavage and her midriff, paired with a short black skirt. She gave off a vibe that was both sexy and spunky. "I'm Isabel. I'm from the city." Sitting next to Isabel was a girl who looked much quieter and more reserved. She was petite, probably just over 5'3", with a sweet smile. "My name is Sophie." Wyatt had knocked around the real world long enough to become a decent judge of character. Just by observing their micro-expressions and the way they spoke, he could make a pretty good guess at their personalities. Ashley, outgoing and lively. From her accent, she sounded like she was from the Midwest. The warm, enthusiastic type. Sophie, sweet and gentle, like she came from a good family. Her soft-spoken manner suggested she was from a wealthy East Coast suburb. Isabel, flirty, confident, and 100% a New Yorker. Overall, Chloe's roommates seemed like a good bunch. Wyatt pulled the luggage over to the only empty bed. "My name's Wyatt," he said with a smile. "I'm also starting college in the city, so you might see me around campus pretty often." Isabel laughed. "I've seen parents drop their kids off at college, and even grandparents, but this is the first time I've ever seen a guy drop off his own girlfriend. You two must have been together for a long time. Wyatt spun another lie without missing a beat. You caught us. Someone as gorgeous as you must have dated a lot, right? I've had my share, Isabel shot back, not backing down. Just haven't dated anyone as handsome as you yet. Now you're just flattering me. Ashley and Sophie giggled at their sharp-witted exchange. Chloe, standing beside Wyatt, secretly tugged on the corner of his shirt. Wyatt glanced up at the empty top bunk and shifted his attention. Do you know how to make the bed? He asked her. Chloe shook her head. Wyatt immediately opened the large woven bag from the school, took out the mattress pad, comforter, and sheet set, and climbed up to make the bed for her. Not stopping there, he went the extra mile, wiping down the desk, chair, and closet below. Chloe felt awkward just standing there, so she finally opened her suitcase and started hanging her clothes in the closet and arranging her toiletries. Why'd you bring this? Wyatt asked in surprise, looking down and seeing the stitched plushie he'd given her in the suitcase. My mom must have packed it by accident, Chloe said defensively, quickly zipping the suitcase shut and ending the topic. It took over half an hour to get everything settled. The three roommates watched the entire time without saying a word, but their eyes held a clear trace of envy. From their perspective, Wyatt was incredibly thoughtful, treating Chloe like a princess, arranging everything for her perfectly. Chloe's voice was soft, and every time she spoke, Wyatt would unconsciously lean down to hear her better. It all looked so sweet and loving. By this point, Wyatt's stomach was growling. He took out his phone, snapped a picture of the dorm room, and then said to Chloe's roommates, "We haven't had lunch yet, so we're going to go grab a bite. You guys want to join?" "We already ate," Ashley said. "All right, we'll see you all later then. Bye, ladies. Bye, handsome." Wyatt took Chloe's hand and led her out of the dorm. The second they were gone, Ashley's voice echoed from inside. "God, please grant me a boyfriend this thoughtful. I'm so in love." "Ashley, keep it down. They can probably hear you." Wyatt's mood was excellent as he happily led Chloe downstairs. Once they were outside the dorm building, Chloe finally stopped. "How long are you planning on holding my hand?" Only then did Wyatt realize he was still holding her small hand. He let go, smiling awkwardly. "Just trying to make the act convincing. I've noticed you seem to get along with everyone instantly." "No, I don't." "Yes, you do. You were just chatting so happily with my roommates. You weren't saying anything. If I didn't talk, the atmosphere would have been so awkward, right?" "Heh. Speaking of which, you should be paying for this meal, right?" Wyatt said, turning around to show her his back. "Look, my shirt is soaked in sweat." Chloe pushed him away. "Fine, I'll pay." They found a small restaurant on campus. When the server brought the menu, Wyatt didn't hold back, ticking off 3 dishes and a soup. He handed the menu back and said, "Miss, could you please make it quick? I'm starving to death over here." His comment made the waitress laugh. She soon returned with a small plate of peanuts and another of smashed cucumbers. "Here, snack on this while you wait. It's on the house." "You're too kind. Thank you so much." Chloe actually envied Wyatt's shamelessness. He could meet strangers and be laughing and joking with them in minutes. She could never do that. Even though Wyatt had helped her take the first step, she was still worried she wouldn't be able to get along with her 3 roommates. Wyatt popped a few cucumber slices in his mouth, then took out his phone again. He snapped another picture and sent it, along with the one from the dorm, to Miranda. "Wyatt, ma'am, I got Chloe to the school safely. We're having lunch now." Miranda had been waiting for this message. Seeing it, she let out a long sigh of relief and sent a voice note back. "Wyatt, thank you so much for everything." "Wyatt, typing no trouble at all. I keep my promises." "Miranda, is that Chloe's bed? Did you make it for her?" "Wyatt, yes." "Miranda, and how is Chloe getting along with her roommates?" "Wyatt, they've just met and introduced themselves. I'll teach her how to get along with them, don't you worry." "Miranda, then I'm counting on you to take good care of her." "Wyatt, you got it, no problem." Seeing Wyatt put his phone away, Chloe finally asked, "What are you and my mom talking about?" "Nothing much, just giving her a quick update," Wyatt said with a grin. "So, do you want to get close with your 3 roommates as quickly as possible?" Chloe hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "All right then, listen up. This is your boyfriend's specially tailored guide to making friends in college. Generally speaking, the first couple of days are your best chance to get close with your roommates. I've already met all 3 of them. First, Isabel is the most mature of the 4 of you." "What?" Chloe finally interjected. "Because," Wyatt said with a completely straight face, "aside from me, no guy is any good, especially not artsy guys. Every single one of them is either a player or a total scumbag." Chloe was speechless. "Besides," Wyatt added quickly, "you already have a boyfriend. Why would you let other guys get close to you?" "Shut up." Wyatt gave a sheepish grin and started devouring his food. After he filled his stomach and saw that Chloe was mostly done eating, he asked, "Do you know how to get back?" "I know. The restaurant was very close to the dorm. Even with her terrible sense of direction, she couldn't possibly have forgotten the way back already. And you'd better remember our agreement, she added. Don't worry, I won't forget. They left the restaurant, and Chloe started walking back towards the girls' dorm by herself. She still felt a bit apprehensive. From this moment on, she was on her own. She walked nervously to the entrance of the building. Then, on a whim, she turned around. When she saw Wyatt standing about 100 yards away, just watching her, she froze for a second. A faint, sweet smile blossomed on her delicate face. Seeing him wave at her, Chloe slowly raised her own small hand and waved back twice before finally turning and walking into the dorm. When she got back to her room, her 3 roommates were already deep in conversation about their high school experiences. Seeing Chloe return, the short-haired Ashley immediately jumped up, pulled her over to a chair, and asked, "Chloe, is it okay if we just call you Chloe?" Chloe, who wasn't used to such enthusiastic people, just nodded shyly. "Chloe, you have to tell us. How did you and your boyfriend meet? How long have you been dating? And why did he bring you to school today?" Chloe was at a loss for words, but then she suddenly remembered the story Wyatt had told Leo on the train. She quickly recounted it to her new roommates, though naturally, she changed the parts about who handed over the tissue and who asked for the phone number. A lake, a girl playing a guitar, a handsome drunk guy. As they listened, the 3 roommates pictured an entire episode of a romantic drama in their heads. "So why did he bring you to college?" Isabel pressed. "He made an agreement with my mom," Chloe blurted out. Isabel. Sophie. Ashley. "He made an agreement with your mom? You guys have already met the parents." Chloe wanted to explain, but she didn't know how. Seeing the envious looks on their faces, she decided to just give up. In a way, Wyatt really had met her parents. "Oh my God, your parents are so open-minded," Ashley exclaimed. "If I had dared to date in high school, my parents would have broken my legs." Sophie nodded vigorously in agreement. High school junior and college freshmen were only a year apart, but dating in high school was considered taboo, while dating in college was perfectly normal. With this opening, Chloe began to relax. The 4 of them started chatting, their conversation jumping from their favorite musicians to funny stories about themselves. When the topic turned to their families, Ashley noticed Chloe was quiet and gently asked, "Chloe, what do your parents do?" "My dad works at a bank, and my mom works for a multinational company." She paused, remembering what Wyatt had told her at lunch, and added, "They divorced when I was in middle school." Just as he predicted, as soon as she said it, the expressions on her roommates' faces shifted. The girl they had initially thought was aloof, they now regarded with a flicker of sympathy. Ashley even whispered a quiet, "I'm sorry." "It's okay," Chloe said quickly. "I'm used to it." The topic was quickly dropped. The 4 of them began to dream about the college life ahead, talking about the school's history, gossiping about a certain professor, and debating which building on campus was haunted. As they chatted, the sky outside grew dark. Isabel glanced at the time and suggested, "Let's all go out for dinner tonight. I know a really good K-barbecue place." "Yeah." The suggestion was met with immediate approval from Ashley and Sophie. "Chloe, what about you?" Chloe paused for a second, then nodded. "I'm in." She was just thinking, how did Wyatt predict all of this? Her roommates' personalities were exactly as he described them, and someone really had suggested they all go out to dinner. How could he have figured all that out after just one brief meeting, without even really talking to them? Could he actually see the future? Wyatt's school didn't start new student registration until the next day. After dropping Chloe off, he took the subway to his own campus, found a motel nearby to check into, and then called Dave and Sarah to let them know he'd arrived safely. That evening, Riley also messaged to ask if he'd gotten Chloe Jidja to her school safely, and he chatted with her for a bit. Leo didn't message him. Wyatt figured he was probably out at a welcome dinner with his new roommates. Generally, guys' dorms were much simpler than girls'. You wouldn't find a situation with 3 or 4 different group chats for one dorm room. Wyatt took a shower and lay on the bed, idly watching the stock market on his phone. The market was already starting to climb, and his portfolio was growing day by day. At this rate, by the time this bull run was over, his assets could multiply 100 or even 200 times over. But Wyatt wasn't pinning all his hopes on the stock market. After the 2014 to 2015 bull market, things would stagnate for a long time. That meant to have a steady income, he'd have to find other ventures. Investing was still too early, and he didn't have enough capital. So, his plan for his freshman year was to start some small, surefire business ventures to accumulate capital, gain experience, and test himself. Around 10 o'clock that night, a message from Chloe finally came through. "Chloe, you asleep?" Wyatt. "Nope, was waiting for you." Wyatt, "Dinner over?" Chloe. "Yeah, just got back to the dorm." Wyatt. "Did it go well?" Chloe. "Better than I expected." Wyatt. That's good. Next up is orientation. Get ready for it. Eat and sleep on time. Chloe, why are you starting to sound like my mom? Wyatt, I'm just concerned about you. Chloe, goofball. Chloe, I'm going to take a shower. Talk later. Wyatt, okay. Half an hour later. Chloe, good night. Wyatt, good night. The night passed without incident. The next morning, Wyatt grabbed a quick breakfast downstairs at the motel and then dragged his suitcase straight to campus. The sun was already high in the sky. As Wyatt walked onto the Fordham campus, he was hit by a wave of vibrant, youthful energy. It was crowded, and many of the upperclassmen girls were dressed very maturely. Tank tops, short skirts. Some wore white t-shirts, so thin you could clearly see the color of their bras underneath in the sunlight. It was a sight you would absolutely never see on a high school campus. Wyatt paid his tuition and housing fees first, then went to the registration area. Gabelli School, finance majors register here. A long row of tables was set up in front of an academic building. Behind the tables sat the various academic advisors, each with a student assistant. These assistants were mostly freshmen themselves, braving the hot sun to help out, hoping to get a leg up and secure the position of class president. Hey, are you a finance major? A guy with rimless glasses asked, pushing them up his nose. Yeah, this is our advisor, Ms. Thorne. I'm a classmate of yours. My name's Ethan. Wyatt. Nice to meet you. You too. Class presidents in college were usually elected. Ethan, by volunteering as an advisor's assistant, was clearly trying to get a head start on networking with his classmates. He said enthusiastically, just fill out this form, then give me your acceptance letter and your file. I'll take you to get your bedding and orientation uniform. Wyatt understood Ethan's game perfectly. He had no interest in being class president, so he cooperatively finished the paperwork and followed Ethan to get his things. Everything's here, Ethan said. Let's exchange numbers. I'll post the orientation schedule in the group chat later. Sound good? The dorms are straight ahead, turn right at the first intersection, and then keep going. Your building is right next to the athletic fields. Thanks. No problem. As Wyatt walked away, Ethan let out a sigh of relief. Seeing the line at the registration table had grown again, he jogged back, his enthusiastic smile plastered back on his face. Campus Mobile. 2 gigs of data a month? Only $28. Don't miss out. Verizon Broadband. Bundle with your phone plan. Only $198 a semester. Kindle Unlimited Student Discount. Pay for 6 months. Get 6 free. Cafeteria One is hiring part-time. Street Dance Club recruiting. All aspiring dancers welcome. Wyatt finally reached his dorm building, dragging his suitcase. He wiped the sweat from his forehead, hauled his luggage up the 3 steps, and headed straight for the second floor. His room was also on the second floor, the first one on the left, 201. The door was open. Wyatt walked to the entrance and saw it was empty. On a first-come, first-served basis, he chose a bed, cleaned it up, and organized his things. Once his bed and desk area were set up, he saw that no one else had arrived yet, so he decided to clean the whole dorm room. He wasn't even finished when he discovered several treasures left behind by the previous year's occupants under the desks and in the drawers. Piles of empty cigarette packs and old textbooks. A poster of Jennifer Lawrence. And in a drawer, he found an unopened condom. Wyatt cleaned everything up and carried a large bag of trash out of the room. It was still early and his roommates hadn't shown up, so he decided to explore the campus. There were 3 cafeterias, one near the main academic buildings and the other 2 next to the dorms. For lunch, he had a pretty decent stone pot bibimbap at Cafeteria 1. When he got back to the dorm after lunch, his 3 roommates had all arrived. Wyatt glanced around from the doorway, then stepped inside with a grin. The name's Wyatt, from Riverwood. Which of you gentlemen are from where? The first to speak was a guy in a short-sleeved, button-down shirt, whose bed was next to Wyatt's. I'm Alex, Queens native. Next, the guy whose bed was across from Wyatt's stopped what he was doing and said, Chris, I'm from Palo Alto. Finally, all eyes turned to the skinniest-looking guy in the room. He was about 5'8", but probably weighed less than 130 pounds. He could easily be described as rail-thin. He smiled shyly. My name is Sam, from West Virginia. Well, looks like we're roommates now. We're probably all around the same age, but we should still pick a leader based on who's oldest. My birthday's in April. What about you guys? July, September. Chris grinned. December. But I'm probably a year older than you guys. Damn, I thought I was the oldest, Alex said, then laughed. All right, then Chris is number 1, Wyatt number 2, I'm number 3, and Sam's number 4. You think number 2 sounds good? From now on, you all better call me second in command. Especially you, Alex. You call me number 2, and I'll call you third wheel. We can go down together. Ha ha. While other dorm rooms were still stuck in the awkward getting-to-know-you phase, room 201 was already filled with laughter. Wyatt quickly picked up on his roommates' key traits from their conversation. Number 1, Chris, laid back, generous, straightforward. Number 3, Alex, a try-hard who talked a big game, claiming to be a ladies' man, but was actually an 18-year-old virgin. Number 4, Sam, introverted, mild-mannered, a genuinely nice guy. Wyatt chatted with them for the whole afternoon, and they quickly became comfortable with each other. Around 6 in the evening, as the sun began to set, Wyatt stood up. You guys want to go out and grab some dinner tonight? Yeah, sure. First meal of the school year. We should eat something good, right? Definitely. Hearing this, Sam hesitated. Wyatt had noticed when they first met that Sam's family probably wasn't well off. On the first day of college, most people wore new clothes, but Sam was wearing a t-shirt with a curled-up collar. And when he was organizing his closet, Wyatt had seen him unpack his old high school gym uniform. From that alone, you could tell Sam's family was of modest means, maybe even poor. Just as Wyatt was about to offer to pay, Chris spoke up first. Dinner's on, but let's get one thing straight. Tonight's on me. None of you are allowed to argue about it. Dude, are you secretly a rich kid? Alex slung an arm around Chris's shoulder, his face full of curiosity. Chris shrugged nonchalantly. Not exactly a rich kid. More like, my family's in real estate development. You guys own a lot of property. In this economy, real estate was booming. Owning a single property in a major city already put you ahead of 80% of the country. Chris nodded and held up 3 fingers. Alex laughed. 3 houses? That's only one more than my family has. 3 buildings, Chris corrected him. Huh? Alex's eyes went wide. 3 buildings? Holy crap. Bro. No, Dad. Chris chuckled. My old man already told me. He doesn't expect me to learn much in these 4 years. As long as I eat well and have fun, that's enough. I'm just going home to collect rent after graduation anyway. So, I'll say it now. I'll cover all the electricity and utilities for the dorm for the rest of our time here. But I'm not doing any of the cleaning. Wyatt was a bit surprised himself. He'd guessed Chris's family was well off, but he hadn't expected this level of wealth. 3 buildings in Palo Alto? The annual rent was probably more than a public company's yearly profit. I'll handle the cleaning. It's on me. Wyatt couldn't stand it anymore. He pulled Alex away from Chris. Dude, were you a court eunuch in a past life? Can you stop being such a suck-up? Alex just grinned and continued his interrogation. Wyatt, your family must be in big business too, right? My dad works for the city. My mom's a junior accountant. What big business? Let's go eat. Sam, what are you standing there for? The big boss is treating, and you're not coming? Without waiting for an answer, Wyatt pulled Sam out of the room. It was the first day of orientation, and the campus was bustling with people. Alex walked with his hands clasped behind his head, looking at the crowds. Do you guys know the male-to-female ratio at our school? He asked proudly. What is it? 3 to 7. For every 3 people, 2 are girls. And what does that have to do with you? Chris asked, playing along. I'm planning on getting a girlfriend freshman year, Alex declared. My family's line is on me. I'm the only son for 2 generations. My parents are all for me, finding someone at school. Well, good luck with that. Chris, you're so rich. You must have dated in high school, right? Chris shook his head. Nope. My old man was super strict. If I'd dated, he would have broken my legs. Sam, you definitely haven't, right? Sam quickly shook his head. So Wyatt, what about you? Me neither, Wyatt said without hesitation. It was the truth. He had chased after Chloe's cousin in high school, but she'd rejected him. He only met Chloe after the SATs. Hearing that all 3 of his roommates were single, Alex's ego swelled. He puffed out his chest and announced, looks like I'm the only one here who dated in high school. Let me tell you guys, getting a girlfriend takes technique. I can teach you all slowly. The words had barely left his mouth when Chris's iPhone rang. He answered it. Hey, yeah, everything's settled. Right, about to go get some dinner. The campus was too noisy, so Chris switched to speakerphone. A girl's voice came through. So, when does your orientation start? I don't know yet. Probably tomorrow afternoon or the day after. Okay, well, go eat then. We'll talk tonight. Okay. Chris hung up. Immediately after, Sam's phone rang. He also answered on speaker. The person on the other end was also a girl, but she was speaking in a thick Appalachian accent that none of them could understand. Sam also said a few words and hung up. Alex was about to speak when, in the next second, Wyatt's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, then looked at Alex, answered the call, and decisively put it on speaker. Hey, goofball, have you eaten yet? It was Chloe. Not yet. On our way now. You already ate. Yeah. How's the food at the Juilliard cafeteria? It's okay. We have an orientation meeting tomorrow. I'm a little nervous. It's fine. Your school's orientation will probably be pretty chill, but it's 2 weeks long. I'm afraid I won't be able to handle it. You'll be fine. If you get tired, Just tell them you need a break. You're so pretty, the instructor will definitely let you. Last night, after everyone got back to the dorm, they were all calling their families. I was all alone and so bored. Well, after I'm done with dinner tonight, I'll call you. Oh, okay, gotta go for now. We'll talk later tonight. Okay. Wyatt hung up the phone. Alex's eyes were practically bulging out of his head. He pointed a trembling finger at Chris, Sam, and Wyatt. You. Didn't you all say you've never dated? Chris, she and I have always just been friends. Sam, that was my sister on the phone. Wyatt, we're just good friends right now. Bullshit. Alex's face was red with frustration. She's calling you goofball, and you're still just good friends? You guys are unbelievable. Wyatt and Chris exchanged a look, then both moved to sling an arm around Alex's shoulders. Alex, don't be discouraged, Wyatt said. Think about it this way. If Chris and I both have girlfriends, that's 2 fewer competitors for you. You're not as rich as Chris, and you're not as handsome as me. With 2 strong opponents out of the way, with your skills, you could probably even land the campus queen. My stats aren't bad either, okay? Alex said defiantly. Definitely not bad. Impressive. Wyatt turned his head. Sam, what are you standing there for? Hurry up. Tonight, we're taking this real estate mogul for all he's worth. Sam nodded with a smile and hurried to catch up. The 4 of them walked out of the school gates in a single neat line. A 20-minute walk from campus brought them to Metro Center Plaza, a massive, multi-level shopping mall. It housed all sorts of brand-name stores and chain restaurants. It was Sam's first time in a place like this. His small, 18th-tier county had nothing of the sort. The farthest he'd ever been was to the city, and that was only because his mother had been hospitalized there, and he had to go take care of her. The mall was a riot of bright colors and dazzling lights. Stylish decorations created a vibrant, fashionable atmosphere. The bustling crowds, the constant hum of activity, and the endless array of goods were overwhelming. Sam looked around, everything new and fascinating. But after the initial novelty wore off, a sense of inferiority began to creep in. While Chris, Alex, and Wyatt were debating what to eat, he stood off to the side, his head down, lost in thought. How about this place? K-barbecue and hot pot combo. Wyatt, what do you think? I'm good with anything. All right, let's go with this one, Chris decided. The 4 of them headed towards the escalator. Sam watched his 3 roommates step on, then carefully place his own foot on the moving stair. It was his first time on one, and he wobbled, nearly losing his balance. Terrified of being seen in such a clumsy state, he quickly composed himself, took 2 quick steps up, and caught up to Wyatt. Wyatt slung an arm around his shoulder. Sam, listen up. We're eating more meat, less veggies. And avoid the soda. It just fills you up. We gotta eat our money's worth. An opportunity like this doesn't come around every day. Hearing this, Chris looked back and laughed. Wyatt, if you're gonna talk like that, next time I'm just taking you guys to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Go to hell. They quickly found a restaurant from the flyer. It was peak season, so it was pretty crowded. Chris led them inside, found a table, and a waitress promptly brought over a menu and handed it to Wyatt. Wyatt didn't hold back, grabbing a pencil and marking up the paper menu. Here, take a look. Anything else you guys want to add? Alex waved his hand. You just order. I'm not picky. Me neither, Sam quickly added. If you say so, then I'll just order to my own taste. Wyatt added a dozen more check marks to the menu and handed it to the waitress. The 4 of them resumed their idle chat. Sam had trouble keeping up with the conversation, just chiming in with an occasional agreement. He noticed a piece of paper on a grill plate. Having never eaten Korean barbecue before, he reached out, picked it up, and was about to throw it in the trash. Just then, a waitress came over with a cart. Seeing him, she asked sharply, "What are you doing?" Sam's hand froze in midair. From the look in the waitress's eyes, he realized he'd done something wrong. Wyatt glanced over and quickly said with a smile, "My roommate's a real neat freak. This parchment paper has been sitting out for a while. We'd like to get a fresh one." "Oh, of course," the waitress said, her tone softening. Wyatt gave Sam a reassuring, "It's no big deal, look." Sam naturally tossed the now crumpled paper into the trash. To Wyatt, it was a trivial little thing, but he had no way of knowing that, years later, Sam would still remember it. He would never forget that during his first week of college, a roommate named Wyatt had protected his dignity. "Come on, let's eat. Don't just stand there." The meat sizzled on the grill, and the hot pot began to boil. Wyatt raised his cup of soda. "A toast to our generous host, Chris. May he continue to be this charitable in the future." Alex and Sam quickly raised their cups as well. Chris couldn't decide whether to laugh or cry. "You guys are too much." The cost of dinner was nothing to Chris. He had never lacked for money. His father, though strict, had never been cheap when it came to his living conditions. Before he left for college, his dad had warned him repeatedly, Treating your friends to a meal or a drink was fine, but never, ever spend money on women. His father had laid down 3 simple family rules. First, no starting a business. Second, no getting involved with shady women. Third, never touch gambling or drugs. Alex started a new topic. Did you guys join any of the freshman group chats before school started? All 3 shook their heads. What's wrong with you guys? Alex said, as if they failed a crucial test. How can you not join the group chats? Don't you know anything about our school? Sounds like you're the expert. Why don't you enlighten us? Alex's interest was instantly piqued. He asked with a flourish. Do you guys know who our campus queen is? Who? Jessica Evans from the law school. A sophomore. She's 5'6", weight unknown, measurements 35-24-35. Sings, dances, and I heard she even has a black belt in Taekwondo. She's ridiculously hot. Wyatt. Pics, or it didn't happen. Alex, flustered, quickly pulled out his phone and showed them a photo of Jessica he'd saved from the group chat. Chris took a look and passed it to Wyatt. Wyatt glanced at it and gave his assessment. Face 9, 3, body 9, 5, style 9, 6. Wait, she's wearing black stockings? That's another point. Chris gave a thumbs up. Great minds think alike. Wyatt handed the phone to Sam, but Sam wasn't interested. He knew a girl like that was a million miles out of his league. A 9, 3 for her face. Isn't that a little low? Alex protested. Wyatt shrugged. The makeup is good, and it's an upward angle shot, which makes her proportions look better. In person, you'd probably have to dock a point or 2. You've got a whole system for this, don't you? Alex took his phone back, just as a new message popped up in the group chat. He opened it and immediately announced, tomorrow at 10 a.m., meet in Building 5, room 402. Crap, you don't think orientation starts tomorrow, do you? No way, Wyatt said, shaking his head. If orientation started tomorrow morning, they'd have told us to wear our camo uniforms. A morning meeting is probably just for the whole class to meet each other, the advisor, and the lead professor, and then we'll all do self-introductions. Good point. Orientation will either start tomorrow afternoon or the day after. It's only 2 weeks anyway. Blink, and it's over. Alex laughed. Sam, with that skinny frame of yours, you think you can handle orientation? I'll do my best, Sam said, looking embarrassed. You all know that Ethan guy, right? I heard he's in our year. Why do you think he was volunteering as the advisor's assistant on the very first day? You can't figure that out. What's the deal? He wants to be class president. By being the advisor's assistant, he makes an impression on every single one of us. After orientation, the first thing we'll do is elect the class president, social chair, and all that. At this stage, whoever has the most presence among the students is the most likely to get elected. I see. Damn, Wyatt, you seem to know everything. If you're that impressed, just call me Dad. Screw you. Barely 10 minutes had passed before the K-barbecue place started to fill up. With 3 universities nearby and the fall semester just kicking off, the Metro Center Plaza was swarming with students. While Wyatt and his roommates were shooting the breeze, 4 girls walked into the restaurant. Judging by their fresh-out-of-the-box college fashion, they were freshmen, too. The one leading the pack, a girl with round-frame glasses and high pigtails that bounced when she walked, was turning a lot of heads. She was ridiculously cute. Alex spotted them first. He nudged Chris, then shot a low whistle at Wyatt. Wyatt glanced over his shoulder and saw the 4 girls choosing the table right next to theirs. He turned back, a grin playing on his lips. You know, I'm starting to think going out with Alex is a little embarrassing. You're just now realizing that, Chris said deadpan. Alex scowled, ready to fire back, but he caught himself, not wanting the girls at the next table to overhear. He settled for a frustrated sigh. Chris and Wyatt fell back into their own conversation, while Sam quietly worked his way through a plate of bulgogi. Alex, however, had a new mission, stealing glances at the cute girl with the pigtails and short skirt. The 4 of them had their roles perfectly defined. At the next table, the girls, having placed their order, were deep in conversation. They started by complaining about their dorms, then moved on to horror stories about the pre-semester boot camp. By the time the server brought their food, the topic had shifted to astrology and celebrity crushes. Just as Wyatt and Chris were getting into a heated debate, someone tapped Wyatt on the shoulder. He turned to find a pigtail girl standing there. He raised an eyebrow. Can I help you? Hey, we ran out of napkins at our table. Could we borrow some of yours? Wyatt wordlessly passed her the dispenser. The pigtail girl flashed a bright smile. Thanks, handsome. Alex could have spontaneously combusted. Why'd I let him pick this seat? I should have sat there. Wyatt, completely unfazed, just went back to his conversation with Chris. The pigtail girl was cute, sure, and Jessica Evans, the campus queen, was definitely gorgeous. But they couldn't hold a candle to CeCe. Once you've had filet mignon, who goes back to ground chuck? while Wyatt and Chris drifted from debating historical military strategies to the current state of the renewable energy sector. The girls at the next table had moved on to a game of truth or dare. "I'm going to hit the restroom," Wyatt announced, getting up. When he returned, the pigtail girl suddenly stood up, blocking his path. Even in her chunky platform sneakers, she had to crane her neck to look up at him. Wyatt stared back, completely baffled. She smiled sweetly. "Hey, I lost a dare. Can I get your number?" "Mine." Wyatt was caught off guard. "Yep. Sure." Wyatt pulled out his phone, and they exchanged numbers. She saved herself in his contacts with a note. "Amber." "What's your name?" Amber asked. "Wyatt." "Okay, got it." She finally stepped aside, returning to her seat where her friends immediately huddled around her, whispering and giggling. Wyatt shrugged it off and sat back down next to Sam. Alex looked like he was grinding his teeth into dust. "Wyatt," he hissed. "I hope you know I hate you." Wyatt looked at him, confused. "What did I do?" Chris translated for him. "You just stole his girl, man." It clicked. "You little punk," Wyatt said. "I was literally going to send you her number tonight, and now you're cursing me out?" "Dad, I was wrong." Alex's apology was instantaneous and deeply sincere. Chris, sitting next to them, couldn't help but laugh. "All right, if everyone's full, let's head back," Wyatt said. Sam glanced at the leftover food on the table, a flicker of regret in his eyes. He was full, but it seemed like such a waste. He thought about asking for a box, but worried he'd just get made fun of again. He pushed the thought away and got up with the others. Chris paid the bill. The second they stepped out of the restaurant, Alex had his phone out. "Dad, come on, send me her number." "What's the rush?" "No, for real, I really like this one." The moment she walked in, I was already picking out names for our kids. "Get out of here. I just wonder if she goes to our school." Alex mused, lost in his fantasy. Wyatt slung an arm around his shoulder. As someone with a little more experience, he said gravely, "I have to advise you against texting her." "Why?" "They were talking about astrology for like an hour." "Never chase a girl who's into star signs," Chris quickly added. "And never chase a girl who says she's slow to warm up." Wyatt nodded. "Or a girl with a younger brother." Chris chimed in again. "Or a girl who's a super fan of some boy band." Wyatt delivered the final blow. "And after graduation, stay away from the really pretty ones who get government jobs." "Why's that?" Alex asked. "The pretty ones, you never know who their sugar daddy is. And stay away from the ugly ones, too." "And why is that?" "The ugly ones, you never know who their real daddy is." The advice flew straight over Alex's head. He rolled his eyes. "You two can stop trying to mess with me. I read, like, a dozen dating advice articles on Reddit this summer. Just send me her number. I guarantee I'll have her in a month." Wyatt knew when to quit. Love for Alex was still some sacred, beautiful ideal. He wouldn't listen to their cynical advice, and Wyatt wasn't about to waste his breath. They walked back to campus and took turns showering. When Wyatt emerged from the bathroom, he climbed straight into his bunk. He was used to the plush, king-size bed at home, and this narrow, hard slab of a mattress felt alien. The thought that CeCe was probably even more uncomfortable prompted him to call her. She picked up on the first ring. "Did you sleep okay last night?" Wyatt asked. "I bet you're not used to the dorm bed." "Yeah," CeCe's voice came through. "It took me a long time to fall asleep." "I know what you mean. I'm lying down now, and it's not great. How are your roommates?" "They're all right," Wyatt said. "One's a rich kid whose family is in real estate. One's a quiet, bookish type, and the third one is my goofy-ass son." "Huh, just a clown. Anyway, never mind him. What'd you do all day?" "Walked around campus this morning. This afternoon, my roommates said we needed to get more breathable underwear for the boot camp, so I think we start ours tomorrow or the next day." Wyatt cut in. "I don't know if we'll be able to use our phones during breaks. If I don't text you back, I'm probably getting yelled at by some sergeant." "Oh," there was a pause. "Is yours for 2 weeks, too?" 14 days, the weekend after it's over. "I'm coming to see you." "Crap, my phone's about to die again. Can't you just get a new phone?" I will. I'm going to replace this piece of junk in a few days." "My mom's calling me," CeCe said. "Okay, you should get it. I'll hang up. We can text later." "Okay." "CeCe, honey, have you started the boot camp yet?" Miranda asked. "Not yet. Are you getting used to the dorm? Do you want your father to find you an apartment near campus?" "No, it's fine. How are you getting along with your roommates?" "They're okay." Miranda fell silent. Her daughter's 2-word answers left her with nothing to say. But then, CeCe spoke up on her own. "Mom, I want to get a new phone." Miranda's voice brightened instantly. "Of course. Apple's about to release their new model. The day it comes out, I'll order it for you. Can you buy 2? Miranda paused for a beat before answering. "Yes. Should I send both to you? Or send one to Wyatt?" "Just send them to me," CeCe interrupted. "Okay," Miranda said. "I understand." The next morning at 9, the 4 roommates gradually rolled out of bed. After grabbing a quick breakfast at the dining hall, They made their way to room 402 in the business school building for their first official meeting. The freshman finance cohort had 45 students in total, 25 women and 20 men. The gender ratio was fairly balanced, unlike some of the other schools like accounting, law, or languages, where the ratio could be a ridiculous 1-9. Wyatt and his crew weren't early, but they weren't late either. Since Wyatt and Chris were both around 6 feet tall, they naturally found seats in the back rows. Alex, believing in roommate solidarity, sat down next to Wyatt. Sam, however, chose a seat in the front row by himself. Why isn't Sam sitting with us? Alex wondered aloud. He's not that tall, Chris explained. He wouldn't be able to see the board from back here. Besides, he's different. The three of us are here to basically coast for 4 years. He's here to actually learn something. Who's coasting? Alex shot back. I was an honor roll student. Thank you very much. Yeah, right. Wyatt glanced at Sam and sighed softly. He shouldn't have come to this school. Chris looked at him, puzzled. Why not? Finance. It's a tough field to break into if you don't have connections. You guys can probably tell Sam's family isn't wealthy. He's here hoping to land a good job, but this major, it's not the best path for someone in his position. Chris fell silent, considering Wyatt's words. He had a point. Sam, and probably a lot of other students in this room, shouldn't have picked this major. But in 2014, good information was still hard to come by. There wasn't some famous college guru on TV telling every lost high school senior which path would lead to a job and which would lead to debt. Most of them had just stumbled into this program. As 10 o'clock approached, the classroom filled up. The last person to walk in was none other than Ethan, the guy who'd been shadowing the student advisor on registration day. He carried himself as if he were already the class representative, striding directly to the front of the room. All right, everyone, settle down, he announced from the lectern. Our program director and student advisor will be here any minute. We'll probably all have to do self-introductions, so you might want to prepare something. Chris turned to Wyatt. You ever think about running for class rep? He asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. Nope, Wyatt said. Why do you ask? You've got the people skills for it, Chris said. It'd be a piece of cake for you. Also, I'm not going to lie, this Ethan guy is already getting on my nerves. Me too, Alex added. He's a student just like us. We're all sitting down here like normal people, and he's up there acting like he runs the place. What's his deal? If Wyatt had gotten into Harvard or Stanford, sure, he might have considered it. But here at Fordham, being a class rep was mostly just being an errand boy for the advisor. It wouldn't add much to his resume, and it was a lot of hassle for no real reward. I'm not interested, Wyatt said. But if he bugs you that much, one of you should run against him. You'd have my vote. Chris chuckled. Too lazy. Alex was more self-aware. I was never even a group leader in elementary school. Me class rep? No chance. They weren't the only ones annoyed with Ethan. Everyone in the room was a proud, hot-blooded 18-year-old. It was fine to want to be class rep, and it was fine to suck up to the advisor. But why was he so friendly on registration day and acting like a king today? It reminded Wyatt of Kevin, his high school class president, another guy who loved the little bit of power he had. At 10 o'clock sharp, the program director, a man in his 50s named Professor Myers, walked in. He introduced himself briefly. He explained that his role was mainly academic guidance, while their student advisor was more like a residential advisor, handling everything from housing issues to personal problems. After a few words, Professor Myers turned the floor over to the student advisor, Ms. Sutton. Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Sutton, but you can call me Ms. Sutton. I know most of you met me during registration. We're on a tight schedule, so I have a few announcements. Please listen carefully. She was well prepared, speaking clearly and confidently. First, our pre-semester boot camp starts this afternoon at 2 p.m. Everyone needs to assemble on the athletic field in your issued gear. During the training, if you feel dizzy, exhausted, or have any other symptoms of heat stroke, you must report it immediately. Second, each dorm room needs to elect a room leader. Please update the group chat with the name of your leader. I'll notify the room leaders in advance if we're doing room inspections. Third, a warning about scams. The start of the semester is a peak time for fraud. Don't click on suspicious links in text messages, and don't trust unsolicited calls from unknown numbers. At around 10:30, Ms. Sutton finally wrapped up her speech. All right, the rest of the time is yours, she said with a smile. We're going to do self-introductions, starting with the first row from left to right and snaking back. Everyone come on up. She stepped down and stood by the door as the first student, a shy girl from the front row, bravely made her way to the lectern. Hi, my name is Guo Tsaixia. I'm from. Most of the students were nervous, mumbling their name, hometown, and a hobby before quickly retreating to their seats. Until it was Ethan's turn. He walked to the front with an air of confidence, his voice booming through the quiet room. Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Young. I'm a New York native. He began, launching into a passionate speech. I have an outgoing personality. I'm a calm and decisive leader, and I always see the big picture. I served as my class president for all 3 years of high school. During the boot camp, if any of you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to find me. As for my hobbies, I love to read, I love to network, and I love watching movies. That's all for my introduction. Thank you. A sparse, scattered applause followed. What a tool, Alex muttered. Chris just shook his head, looking completely unimpressed. After Ethan, the introductions continued in the same cookie-cutter fashion. When it was Chris's turn, he gave a short, nonchalant intro and came back. Then, Wyatt walked up. He leaned into the mic, his voice calm and clear. My name is Wyatt. My hobby is making money. I plan on being the future of Wall Street. Thank you. Ha ha ha. Wyatt had said it with a playful smirk, and the class took it as the joke it was. The moment he finished, the room erupted in laughter. By the door, Miss Sutton's eyes lingered on him for a few seconds, the corner of her mouth twitching into a smile. Ethan, ever observant, noticed her reaction. A wave of irritation washed over him. His carefully crafted speech had earned polite claps, but Wyatt's 3-sentence joke got a standing ovation. A sense of threat. For the first time, Ethan felt it. The introductions carried on. After the last student had spoken, Ms. Sutton stepped forward again. All right, everyone, remember to be on time this afternoon. If you have any problems, come to me first. You're all dismissed for lunch. As the students filed out, Chris, Wyatt, and Alex went to get Sam. They were about to head to the dining hall together when a voice called out. Wyatt, it was Ms. Sutton. Wyatt turned around. Yeah, Ms. Sutton. Add me on the messaging app, she said with a friendly smile. I might have some things for you to help with later. Sure. Wyatt wasn't about to refuse. He dutifully added her contact and then left with his roommates. With the boot camp starting that afternoon, students from every department were converging on the dining halls. It was an absolute madhouse, a sea of people. Alex, the self-proclaimed food expert, was ready. Okay, I've done my recon. Cafeteria 1 has good bibimbap, ramen, and beef seaweed soup. Cafeteria 2, the stone pot eggs, the spicy stir-fry, and the steak and chicken cutlet combos on the 3rd floor are solid. Cafeteria 3's beef hot pot and big plate chicken are top-notch. What are you guys feeling? I had the bibimbap yesterday, Wyatt said. I'm going to try something else. I'll just look around, Chris added. Wyatt pointed to a few empty seats. Okay, let's all grab our food and meet back here. Sounds good. Wyatt got in line for a pork rib platter. By the time he got back to the table, Alex and Chris were already there. Chris with a selection of small side dishes, Alex with a chicken cutlet meal. Sam was the last to arrive, his tray holding the simplest meal possible. 1 meat, 1 vegetable. Wyatt took a bite of rib and pushed the accompanying bowl of pork rib soup to the center of the table. This tastes different from the pork I'm used to at home. You guys try it. Alex, not getting the hint, picked up a piece and popped it in his mouth. Tastes fine to me. Really? Sam, you try a piece. Sam nodded, taking a small bite. This is probably frozen pork, he said quietly. It's just not very fresh. Well, I'll try a different place tomorrow, Wyatt said, then started eating heartily. After lunch, they headed back to the dorm. The boot camp was that afternoon, and the sun was already blazing. The moment they got inside, they cranked up the AC and all climbed into their bunks for a pre-training nap. Wyatt opened his phone and sent a message to CeCe. Wyatt, is the boot camp tiring? CeCe, yes. Wyatt, mine starts this afternoon. CeCe, but we get a break every half hour. Our instructor is a woman. Wyatt, a break every half hour? That sounds way too easy. Wyatt, so how many guys are in your class? CeCe, I don't know. CeCe, like 5 or 6. Wyatt, are any of them as handsome as me? CeCe, they're all more handsome than you. Wyatt, you're kidding. You couldn't find anyone in the whole country more handsome than me. CeCe, more like, you couldn't find anyone in the whole country with a thicker skin than you. Wyatt, are you going to take a nap? CeCe, yeah. Wyatt, want a nap together? CeCe, go away. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All 45 students of the freshman finance cohort were assembled on the athletic field. Their instructor hadn't even arrived yet, but Ethan had already taken it upon himself to arrange them into 5 rows by height. Wyatt and Chris were in the back, Alex was in the 4th row, and Sam was in the 3rd. It was early September, and the sun was relentless. After just a few minutes of standing on the hot rubber track, people were already drenched in sweat. I should just have my old man give me a fake doctor's note, Chris muttered. Then I wouldn't have to do this. Wyatt chuckled. The boot camp counts for credit, man. If we can't even get the credits that don't require a test, how are we supposed to graduate? I just hope our instructor is chill, Chris sighed. As they were talking, a squad of instructors marched onto the field in perfect formation. The noisy assembly immediately fell silent. A head instructor barked out some orders, and then the instructors broke off, each heading to their assigned class. To Chris's absolute horror, the instructor for the finance cohort was a burly, tough-as-nails sergeant who looked like he ate freshmen for breakfast. "My name is Sergeant Evans," he boomed. "For the next 2 weeks, I will be in charge of your training. There are some rules I need to make clear right now." He immediately set the tone. "Who told you to move? Did I say you could move? Wipe your sweat. You asked for permission to wipe your sweat. From now on, you do nothing in this platoon without asking for permission. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," the students yelled back weakly. "Did you all skip lunch?" "Yes, SIR," they roared. Platoon at 10 tie-in. At ease. Eyes left. "This afternoon, I'm not teaching you anything. Your only job is to learn how to stand at attention. Remember what I said. If you have a problem, you report it." The rest of the afternoon was mind-numbingly boring. 45 students stood under the blazing sun on a rubber track, sweating more in a few hours than they had all summer. Thankfully, Sergeant Evans wasn't a complete monster. He had them take a 10-minute break every hour. "Have you guys picked a class rep yet?" he asked during a break. "Not yet. Last row, I need 2 tall guys. Go to the activities center and bring back 2 water coolers." Ethan was about to volunteer when Evans yelled, "Are you in the last row?" "You." "Yeah, you. What are you smiling at?" "You too. Go get the water." Chris couldn't help but snicker when he saw Ethan get shut down by the sergeant, but his laughter was cut short when he realized he was the one being pointed at, and he had dragged Wyatt down with him. "Chris, I swear to God." "Shut up. I'll buy you a smoothie tonight." "Wyatt, can you walk any slower?" "The slower we walk, the longer they get to rest." "What are you rushing for?" "Aren't you afraid the sergeant will yell at us?" "Afraid of what?" 10 minutes later, Wyatt and Chris finally ambled back with the water. Sergeant Evans immediately marched up to them. "You two trying to set a record for the slowest water run in history?" The other platoons were back ages ago. "Reporting, Sergeant," Wyatt said quickly. "I twisted my ankle on the way. You can check if you want." He made a show of bending down, preparing to take off his shoe and undoubtedly foul-smelling sock. Sergeant Evans took 2 steps back, waving a dismissive hand. "Fine, fine. You two are on water duty. Ladies first. All right, people, 1 cup per person, 1 time only. Drink up and hold on to your cup." "Dude," the sergeant said, "ladies first. Have some class. Chris, make sure you save some for us. I'm so dehydrated my pee is probably sand. On a day this hot, you'd think they'd put some ice in the water. I'd sell my soul for a slice of cold watermelon right now." Life at the boot camp was a monotonous grind. The only solace in this boring existence was the few minutes of rest each day when Wyatt could text CeCe. September 1 SD Wyatt. "Our sergeant is a real piece of work. Yesterday he made me carry water. Today he made me squad leader. There's some other dude who was dying for the job. So why me?" CeCe. "Maybe he thinks you're the most qualified." Wyatt. "And what do you think?" CeCe. "I think you're a dork." September 2 ND Wyatt. "We started marching drills today. I can't get the rhythm right, and I keep kicking the guy in front of me." CeCe. "The guy in front of you must hate you." Wyatt. "It's fine, he's my goofy son." CeCe. "Do you have to train at night?" Wyatt. "Nah, just talent shows and games. You guys probably do the same, right?" CeCe. "Yeah." CeCe. "Luckily, my roommates are all good at performing. I get to be in the audience." Wyatt. "You're afraid to perform in front of people? Then why are you studying music?" CeCe. "I don't know." Wyatt. "It's okay. In the future, you can just sing for me. I'll be your only audience." September 3 RDCC. "Running is so tiring." Wyatt. "Drink more water." CeCe. "I really want to sleep right now." Wyatt. "Me too." CeCe. "Don't you dare say together." Wyatt. September 4 Wyatt. "We have a big hike on the 12th, boot camp ends on the 13th, and the 14th is a weekend. I'm coming to see you." CeCe. "Okay." Wyatt. "What should we do?" CeCe. "Whatever." Wyatt. "Should we invite your roommates?" CeCe. "What do you think?" Wyatt. "Then let's not. It's our first real date. I don't want a bunch of third wheels." CeCe. "Shut up." September 5 Wyatt. "I just realized I'm a whole shade darker." CeCe. "Use sunscreen." Wyatt. "If I use that in the guys' dorm, my roommates will roast me for the rest of my life." CeCe. "Then you deserve it." Wyatt. "If I turn into a piece of burnt toast, you won't dump me, right?" CeCe. "I'm already thinking about it." September 6 Wyatt. "This Gatorade tastes so gross." CeCe. "What does it taste like?" Wyatt. "Like I'm being poisoned." CeCe. Wyatt. "The doctor said the only antidote is a kiss. Quick, give me a kiss." CeCe. "The recipient has blocked this message." September 7 Wyatt. "I found this amazing burrito truck today. Their free horchata is also incredible. I'll take you there sometime. CeCe, okay. September 8th, CeCe. I'm craving ice cream so bad. Wyatt, ice cream. JPG Wyatt, here you go. CeCe, I want to delete you. Wyatt, would you have a heart? CeCe, but I'd add you back. September 9th, CeCe. I heard someone on campus singing If I Were Rich One Day today. Wyatt, did you tell it was your song? CeCe, I didn't dare. Wyatt, what's there to be scared of? Wyatt, I have a bold idea. CeCe, what idea? Wyatt, I want to write a love song for us to sing as a duet. CeCe, hard pass. September 10th, Wyatt. We've only been here for 10 days. Why do people keep trying to add me on social media? Wyatt, is it my fault I'm this handsome? Wyatt, but don't worry, I rejected all of them with the excuse I already have a girlfriend. CeCe, people have been trying to add me too. Wyatt, did you accept? CeCe, no. September 11th, CeCe. Hey dork, look at this leaf, it's so pretty. CeCe, the clouds are so white today. CeCe, this rock is heart-shaped. Wyatt, I miss you too. September 12th, the day of the final endurance hike, a 10-kilometer trek around the outskirts of campus. After more than 10 days of training, the girls had all slimmed down a bit, and the boys had all turned into charcoal briquettes. You couldn't tell as much with their clothes on, but without them, the tan lines were stark. The platoons assembled early in the morning. Since Sergeant Evans had appointed Wyatt as the squad leader, he was responsible for getting everyone in formation. After 2 weeks together, the students in the finance cohort had all gotten to know each other. Wyatt could now put a name to every face, and his easygoing personality had made him popular, especially with the girls. Ethan saw all of this, and it bothered him, but there was nothing he could do. Dude, Alex, are you crazy? Chris said, eyeing Alex's overstuffed backpack. You think this is a picnic? What's with all the food? It's 10 kilometers, man. We're gonna get hungry. Aren't you worried about carrying all that weight? Well, I brought it now. What am I supposed to do? Give me half. If you wanted some, you could have just asked. Sam, you grab some too, Wyatt called out. It's a long way. We might not even be back for lunch. Seeing Sergeant Evans approaching, Wyatt moved to the front of the formation. Platoon at 10 tie-in. Eyes left. Eyes front. At ease, he barked. Reporting, Sergeant. Finance platoon. 45 present. 45 accounted for. Awaiting your orders. Return to your position. Yes, sir. Evans had grown to like Wyatt. The kid was always smiling, seemed to get along with everyone, and the platoon actually listened to him, which made formations a breeze. Evans stepped in front of the platoon and reiterated the rules for the hike. Once the other platoons were ready, the entire freshman class of the business school marched out of the campus gates, a formidable column beginning their 10-kilometer journey. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, but I've been told. Ready, sing. I don't know, but I've been told. Eskimo women are mighty cold. The loud cadence calls echoed through the streets. To avoid disrupting traffic, the route followed a series of smaller, scenic back roads. But once the sun climbed higher in the sky, the scenery stopped being a comfort. Wyatt finished a Snickers bar and wiped his forehead, his palm coming away slick with sweat. They had started at 9 a.m. 10, 11, 12. 3 hours had passed, and they still weren't back to campus. The less athletic students were already struggling to keep up. Just as they were about a mile from school, a sharp cry came from the front of the line. Alex's head snapped up. Sam fainted. The column ground to a halt. Sergeant Evans ran over. What happened? Someone passed out. Quick, give him some Gatorade. Wyatt pushed through the crowd. After forcing some of the sports drink into Sam's mouth, he saw how pale Sam's face was. Sergeant, Wyatt said, Sam only had a couple of bread rolls and some soy milk this morning. This might be more than just heat stroke. He could be anemic. Evans hadn't expected someone to collapse at this stage, and he seemed at a loss. He was debating whether to halt the entire company or call for a vehicle to take Sam to the infirmary. Just then, Wyatt yelled, Chris, Alex, give me a hand. He crouched down. Chris and Alex quickly helped lift the unconscious Sam onto Wyatt's back. With a grunt, Wyatt struggled to his feet and started running toward the campus. Chris and Alex exchanged a look and immediately took off after him. Sergeant Evans opened his mouth to say something, then closed it. In the end, he silently permitted Wyatt's insubordination. Everyone else, keep up with the platoon in front of you, he commanded. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the campus infirmary, the nurse quickly diagnosed Sam. Wyatt's guess had been spot on. Heat stroke, anemia, and hypoglycemia. He was already thin and had been suffering from long-term poor nutrition. The long hike under the blazing sun had been too much for his body. It's nothing major. Let him rest for a bit. He should wake up soon. Thanks, Doc, Wyatt said, then asked, can he participate in the training this afternoon? He shouldn't, the nurse said. I can write him a note. You can give it to your instructor, and he can be excused for the afternoon. That would be great, thank you. The nurse wrote out the note and handed it to Wyatt. Chris leaned in. What now? You go to the dining hall and get some lunch for Sam, Wyatt instructed. Alex, you stay here and look after him. I'll take this note to the sergeant. Got it. By now, the rest of the hikers had returned to campus. Sergeant Evans was giving his final summary. Wyatt waited until he was finished, then walked up with the nurse's note. Sam's not doing well, he said quietly. The doctor said he shouldn't participate this afternoon. Here's the note. Evans took it, glanced at it, and nodded. All right, I understand. You did a good thing today, but in the future. He trailed off, a sudden smile breaking across his face. Well, I guess there is no in the future. The boot camp ends tomorrow. At that, Evans's entire demeanor changed. He clapped Wyatt on the shoulder. You did a great job these past 2 weeks. The head instructor heard about you carrying your classmate to the infirmary. You might even get a commendation at the closing ceremony tomorrow. I just did what I had to do. You kid. Evans waved a hand, a mix of amusement and exasperation on his face. Get out of here, and don't be late this afternoon. You got it. Wyatt jogged back to the infirmary. Sam was awake, hearing from Chris and Alex that Wyatt had carried him all the way back to campus. He was overwhelmed with gratitude, but the words thank you seemed stuck in his throat. Wyatt walked over with a smile. Hey, I know what you're going to say. Don't worry about it. We're roommates. I gave the doctor's note to the sergeant. You just rest up here and head back to the dorm when you're done. Chris got you lunch. You should eat. I'll Venmo you, Sam said, reaching for his phone. Chris quickly stopped him. Dude, just eat. It's a few bucks. Don't worry about it. It's on me. Finally, Sam managed to force out the words. Thank you. All right, we'll leave you to it. We're starving too. Okay, let's go, guys. Time for food. The closing ceremony tomorrow required a demonstration of everything they'd learned, so the afternoon was spent reviewing all the drills. Notably, Sergeant Evans, who had been so strict, was remarkably laid back. During breaks, he even found them a shady spot to rest. 2 weeks. It wasn't long, but it wasn't short either. Without the boot camp, it would have taken the class much longer to get to know one another. These memories would definitely stick with them for a long time. The next morning, the mood was electric. After the closing ceremony, the boot camp would officially be over. The thought of finally enjoying the freedom of college life had everyone giddy with excitement. The platoons assembled in neat formations on the athletic field. Once the university leadership and head instructors were seated on the main stage, the ceremony began. Left turns, right turns, quick time march, parade march. The finance cohort executed their drills flawlessly. After the other platoons had their turn, the long, drawn-out leadership speeches began. Each speech sounded like it had been copied and pasted from the internet, repeating the same tired phrases. Wyatt let his mind drift, already imagining seeing CeCe tomorrow. It wasn't until 11:20 that the university president finally began his closing remarks. I hope you all take the spirit of this boot camp as your starting point. Continue to foster a sense of community, help each other in your studies, and care for one another in your daily lives. Cherish your time in college, uphold our school's motto, and strive to learn and grow. And now, please welcome the recipients of the Outstanding Instructor and Outstanding Cadet Awards to the stage. The recipients for Outstanding Instructor are Li Dazhao, Xing Wenhao, Jiang Long, Sergeant Evans. The recipients for Outstanding Cadet are Cadet Wang Jiechi from Platoon 1401, Cadet Ouyang Qing from Platoon 1403, Cadet Wyatt from Platoon 1406. Hearing Wyatt's name, Alex whipped his head around. Holy crap, you won an award? Wyatt was just as surprised. The other students started nudging him. Wyatt, what are you waiting for? Get up there. He finally shook himself out of his stupor and jogged toward the stage. A handshake, a certificate, a photo op. By the time Wyatt dazedly returned to his spot, the president was shouting into the microphone. I now declare the Fordham University 2014 Fall Boot Camp closing ceremony officially over. The announcement was met with a roar of cheers from the crowd below. Camouflage hats were tossed into the air, falling like confetti. Amid the joyous, chaotic celebration, the freshmen, exhausted from 2 weeks of training, could finally relax. We finally made it, Chris exclaimed. I'm sleeping all afternoon. Tonight, I'm taking you guys out for a big celebratory dinner. All hail the boss. Alex cheered. Wyatt, what are you thinking about? Wyatt snapped out his thoughts. Nothing. You guys go ahead to the dining hall. I need to make a call. My friend and I made plans to hang out tomorrow. Hearing this, Chris chimed in. I need to call my buddy too. She doesn't go to school far from here. If you guys don't mind, I'll have her join us for dinner tonight. Why will we mind? As long as you're paying. And with that, the two of them walked off, one to call his buddy, the other to call his friend. Alex just sighed, slinging an arm around Sam's shoulder. Sam, my man, don't be jealous of them. Spending money on a girlfriend is nothing. The real power move is getting a girlfriend to spend money on you. Sam looked at him, completely bewildered. I'm not jealous. I don't even want a girlfriend. You're a different breed. Wyatt found a quiet spot and dialed CeCe's number. CeCe, who had just sat down in the dining hall, saw his call and immediately declined it. She sent a text instead. CeCe, I'm in the dining hall. It's really loud. I'll call you back later. Wyatt, just wanted to tell you my boot camp is over. I'll come to your school to find you tomorrow morning. CeCe, okay. CeCe, I'll be waiting. Wyatt returned to the dorm, took a shower, and tossed his sweat-soaked boot camp uniform into a bucket. He poured in some of Chris's laundry detergent, rolled up his pants, and proceeded to stomp on the clothes with his bare feet. It was the quintessential male laundry method, undeniably less effort than hand-washing, though its effectiveness was another matter entirely. With the clothes hung up to dry and the door and windows shut, cranking the AC transformed the dorm room into a slice of heaven. Exhausted from 2 weeks of training, Wyatt had barely been lying down for 2 minutes before a steady, rhythmic snore filled the room. His snores were contagious. One by one, his 3 roommates also succumbed to a deep afternoon slumber. When Wyatt finally stirred, the sky outside was already dark. No classes, freshly showered, a fully charged phone, no need to pee in a quiet, clean dorm. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated bliss. If his stomach hadn't been growling, he might have just rolled over and gone back to sleep. He climbed down from his bunk and had just finished putting on his shoes when his phone blared to life. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. The explosive anthem jolted all 3 of his roommates awake. Hello. Hey, Mom. No, the boot camp just ended today. I slept all afternoon. I was just about to go get dinner. Yeah, I have enough money. I know. The moment he hung up, Alex's voice rained down from the top bunk. Wyatt, for the love of God, it's 2014. Can you please get a normal ringtone? What's not normal about LMFAO? Damn it. For a second there, I thought I'd fallen asleep at a frat party. Wyatt chuckled. I used to listen to all kinds of pop music, but when you boil it down, they're all singing about 2 things. I love them, they don't love me, I'm so sad, or I'm so sad, but I don't know why. At the end of the day, I feel like Party Rock Anthem has the most positive energy. It puts me in a good mood. Every time I hear it, I get the urge to go run 3 miles around the track. You, in your weird philosophies. Chris checked the time on his phone and climbed down from his bunk. It's getting late. My buddy should be here soon. If you guys want to eat, get up. Chris changed and went to the balcony to make a call. Seeing Wyatt had also changed, he asked, Wyatt, where are we eating tonight? During the boot camp, both Chris and Alex had somehow fallen into the habit of asking for Wyatt's opinion whenever a decision had to be made. Subtly, Wyatt had become the one to call the shots. Let's just find a place on that strip with all the food trucks near campus. I have to head out early tomorrow morning. Chris nodded. Works for me. After we eat, I can show my buddy around campus. With a plan in place, the 4 of them set off. Chris led them to the main campus gate. After about 5 minutes, a short-haired girl in sunglasses crossed the street towards them. Over here. Chris waved. The girl pushed her sunglasses down her nose, revealing a pair of sparkling eyes. Seeing Chris and his friends, she broke into a jog. Her hair, cut to her ears, was dyed a deep red. A touch of blush highlighted her cheeks. She wore a cropped button-down shirt and denim shorts, with a designer bag slung over her shoulder. Her whole vibe radiated confidence. Birds of a feather flocked together. Anyone who could be buddies with a real estate heir like Chris was obviously from a similar background. Paige, let me introduce you. These are my 3 roommates, Wyatt, Alex, and Sam. The girl, Paige, took off her sunglasses, a bright smile on her face. Nice to meet you all. Is your name Paige? Or is it your last name? Wyatt asked with a friendly grin. It's my first name. It's a nice name. Paige laughed. Chris, this roommate of yours is quite the charmer. Chris shrugged. All right, let's go eat. I'll give you the grand tour later. What are we eating? How about that crawfish boil place? The group walked to the strip of eateries just south of campus. With the boot camp finally over, the street was packed. The restaurants were full, and even the food truck lines snaked down the sidewalk. The air was thick with the mingled aromas of handheld crepes, pork belly sandwiches, sizzling sausages, and fried skewers. The smell alone made their stomachs rumble. Crawfish. You guys down? Let's do it. Boys rarely needed more than a few seconds to make a decision. The 5 of them found a table at a bustling seafood shack. The waitress handed Wyatt a menu, and he passed it directly to Paige. Ladies first. Paige took it without hesitation and started ordering. Wyatt took the opportunity to chat with the waitress. This place is packed. You must make a killing here, right? The waitress, surprised by the question, smiled. It's all right. Business is good now that the students are back. It'll slow down once it gets cold. I hear the rent around here is crazy. A place this big must cost a few thousand a month, right? Seeing that Wyatt was just a student, she didn't hold back. A few thousand won't cut it. This place is about 1,500 square feet. Rent is almost 20 grand a month. The smaller places are cheaper, though. That bakery 2 doors down is only 7,500. That much. Doing business these days is just working for the landlord, she sighed. I can't tell you how many places on this street go under every year. Wyatt smiled and didn't press further. The price was actually within the range he could accept. This was New York, after all, where every square foot was gold. Based on her numbers, the price per square foot was around $130 a month. If he rented a smaller space, maybe 500 or 600 square feet, the rent would be around $7,000 to $8,000. He had the rent figures, but he still hadn't figured out what kind of business to start. A boba tea shop was the easiest option, but opening one near a university in 2014 was a bad move. The campus dining halls already had several drink stalls, and this street alone had multiple boba shops. The competition was too fierce. He had already dismissed that idea on his first day here. Wyatt, what are you thinking about? Chris asked. Nothing. Come on, what is it? He couldn't hide it forever. I'm actually thinking about starting a business, Wyatt said directly. Maybe a small one here on campus. Huh. Alex was the first to react. Wyatt, don't tell me you're a rich kid too. I already told you, my parents are just regular office workers. Then where are you getting the money? Didn't you hear the waitress? Renting a place costs 20 grand. You have to sign a lease for at least a year. That's over $100,000. Even a small place would be tens of thousands. Don't tell me. You won the lottery. Wyatt's eyes widened. How did you know? What? For pairs of eyes instantly locked onto Wyatt. I just came into a little money over the summer, Wyatt said casually. It's not much. Like I said, I'm thinking of small-time business. Chris leaned forward, intrigued. So what are you planning to do? Haven't decided yet, Wyatt said with a grin. I'll let you know when I figure it out. Let's eat. Let's eat. Paige propped her chin on her hand, a playful smile on her face. Chris, look at your roommate. College just started, and he's already thinking about his own startup. And you? Are you just planning to coast through college and wait to die? You know my family situation, Chris shot back. My old man would kill me if I tried to start a business. Then why are you a finance major? Paige's question hit its mark. Despite the family rule, the outwardly nonchalant Chris had a deep-seated desire to prove himself. A life of collecting rent checks was a life he could see from beginning to end, and he didn't want to end up like his father, spending his days fishing, playing mahjong, or golfing. It was too passive. Chris sighed. My dad said if I dare to start a business, he'll cut me off completely. Alex looked confused. Chris, why won't your dad let you start a business? Because they could spend money on whatever they want for the rest of their lives and never run out, Wyatt explained with a smile. But a failed business venture could lose the family everything. A lot of rich parents would rather have their kids be lazy loafers than risk them trying to prove themselves. Let me put it this way, Wyatt continued. If your family has $100 million in the bank, even at a low 4% interest rate on a CD, that's $4 million a year in passive income. What business can you start that guarantees a net profit of $4 million a year? If you don't make that much, even if you break even, you're still losing out on that potential income. Wyatt, you know a lot about this stuff, Alex said, impressed. I read it in a novel once, Wyatt joked. Chris clapped him on the back. But, Wyatt, if your business idea is good, maybe I could partner with you. You're not afraid your old man will cut off your allowance? Nope. Chris slung his arm around Paige's shoulders. My buddy here can support me. Paige rolled her eyes, not seeming to mind the gesture at all. They were clearly used to this kind of playful roughhousing. She shrugged his arm off. Get lost, she said, laughing. When the crawfish arrived, the 5 of them dug in, peeling shells and chatting freely. Sam was quiet, but Wyatt and Chris had plenty to talk about, and with Alex and Paige chiming in, the atmosphere was lively and fun. By the time they left the restaurant, it was almost 8 o'clock. We won't be your third, fourth, and fifth wheels, Wyatt said with a grin. If you're not back by 11, we'll just assume you're not coming back tonight. But be safe, okay? He drew out the words, be safe, with heavy emphasis. Wyatt, you ass, Chris yelled after them. As Wyatt, Alex, and Sam walked away, a smile played on Paige's lips. That Wyatt guy seems like he really knows how to handle people. He's got high EQ, Chris said. I noticed it on the first day. I was worried I wouldn't find any roommates I could actually talk to, but I guess I was wrong. So where to next? First, I need to call my dad. What for? To ask for money. I told Wyatt I'd go in on his startup with him. What's your excuse this time? That you're pregnant and I need money for the abortion. Paige kicked him squarely in the butt, her face turning red. Chris, go to hell. On the way back to the dorm. Alex, are you jealous of Chris? Sam asked suddenly. Alex raised an eyebrow. What makes you say that? You said this afternoon that spending money on a girlfriend is nothing, and the real power move is getting her to spend money on you. It looked like Paige paid for dinner back there. Even though Chris called her his buddy, anyone with eyes could see their relationship was much closer to a couple's. Why are you telling me this? Alex said defensively. You think Wyatt isn't jealous too? What do I have to be jealous of? Wyatt said, all seriousness. When I'm with my girlfriend, she pays for me too. Yeah, right? Keep telling yourself that. Don't believe me if you don't want to. If that's true, Alex scoffed. Your girlfriend must be a real looker. He said it with heavy sarcasm. Alex, don't be sour just because you can't have it, Wyatt said calmly. My girlfriend is both beautiful and rich. Alex clearly didn't believe him. Wyatt didn't bother explaining, even though he had several photos of him and CeCe on his phone. Back in the dorm, Wyatt checked his messages and saw several from his best friend, Leo. Leo, my boot camp is over. Yours should be too, right? Leo, we have a day off tomorrow. You want to come see me? Or I can come to you. Leo, I want to check out the Empire State Building first. Wyatt can't. I'm busy. Wyatt, I have a date with my girlfriend. Wyatt, next time. Leo, you son of a bitch. Brothers before hoes, man. Wyatt, correct. Leo, Wyatt, I hope you know I hate you. There are only 9 girls in my entire engineering program. I never should have come to New York. Wyatt, it's okay, my school is full of girls. Once I get to know some people, I'll introduce you. Leo, you for real? Wyatt, absolutely. Wyatt, what's your type? Leo, I'm not picky. I can accept someone slightly less attractive than your girlfriend. Wyatt, then you'll be single for life. Leo? Leo, Wyatt, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Leo, dude, I'm going to kill you. Juilliard School of Music. In room 205 of the girls' dorm, CeCe looked at a package delivery notification on her phone. Do you guys know where to pick up packages? She asked quietly. Usually at the library entrance, across from the dining hall, Sophie said. Are you going to get one now? Yeah, CeCe nodded. I think something my mom sent me arrived. Sophie stood up. I'll go with you, CeCe. I have a package too. Okay. The two left the dorm and soon arrived at the package pickup area. After signing for her box, CeCe waited by the door for Sophie. Once they both had their packages, they started walking back together. What did your mom send you? Sophie asked. A phone. Both of these boxes are for you. Yeah. Don't tell me one of them is for your boyfriend. His phone battery is terrible. It's always lagging, so I say no more. Sophie gave her a knowing look. You don't have to explain. I get it. She was a devoted K-drama fan. She'd seen these romantic gestures play out 100 times on screen. CeCe looked at Sophie, then down at the phone in her hands. A wave of regret washed over her. She had no idea how she was going to give this to Wyatt tomorrow. But then she imagined the smug, punchable grin he would have when he received it, and she couldn't help but want to smile. These past 2 weeks. Why time passed so slowly. The next morning at 7 a.m. sharp, Wyatt's alarm went off. Amid the groans and curses of his 3 roommates, he quickly got out of bed, brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed his clothes, and headed out. He bought 4 pork buns and a bottle of soy milk at the dining hall, walked to the bus stop, and soon boarded a bus heading toward the subway station. Getting to her campus from his wasn't easy. It was a 10-minute bus ride, then a subway trip that required a transfer. The whole journey took about 80 minutes. Wyatt left his dorm at 7:15 and didn't arrive at the Juilliard campus until 8:40. Unlike other universities, Juilliard had an open campus, so he walked right in. He had to admit, the students at the art school were on another level. The girls were almost all stunning, fair-skinned, beautiful with long legs. As he walked, a few bold upperclassmen even winked at him, but Wyatt ruthlessly ignored them all. When he reached CeCe's dorm building, he pulled out his phone and gave her a call. Inside her room, the moment her phone rang, CeCe's heart started to pound. She immediately declined the call, slipped on a pair of pink and white Nikes, grabbed the unopened phone box, and quickly left the dorm. Wow, I've never seen CeCe in such a hurry, Ashley commented with a laugh. Isabel stated with absolute certainty, that handsome guy is definitely downstairs right now. Anyone want to bet on it? Sophie, who was brushing her teeth, walked over to the window and peeked out. No need to bet, she announced. I can see him. He came over the second the boot camp ended. Their relationship is almost too good to be true. Sophie, stop staring. You're drooling on the floor. When CeCe got to the first floor, she realized she might have been a little too eager. She took a moment to compose herself, then deliberately waited a few seconds before walking out of the dorm with a slow, unhurried pace. Wyatt was standing right by the entrance. Of course, she saw him immediately, but she purposely looked left and right, pretending she hadn't. Wyatt knew she was doing it on purpose. He walked up to her, waved a hand in front of her face, and said with a sigh, "Really? It's only been 2 weeks. You don't recognize me already? Who are you?" "Your boyfriend," Wyatt declared, puffing out his chest indignantly. CeCe turned as if to walk away. Wyatt quickly grabbed her arm. "Hey, what are you doing?" "I took 2 trains to get here." At that, she stopped and turned back. She looked him up and down, her lips pursed in a look of disgust. "You're as dark as a piece of charcoal. The boot camp at my school was tough, and I didn't use any sunscreen. I'm actually one of the paler ones. My 3 roommates are all darker than me." "How long did it take you to get here?" "An hour and 20 minutes. That long. It was fine. The thought of seeing you made the time fly by." CeCe bit her lip to suppress a smile. She held out the unopened phone box. "For you." "What is it?" "Open it, and you'll see." Wyatt took it and tore open the cardboard packaging. The moment he saw the iconic Apple box inside, he knew it was the new iPhone 6. He looked at CeCe in surprise. "For me? My mom was supposed to get me a new phone," CeCe said, fumbling for an excuse. "I don't know how, but they sent 2. The store must have made a mistake." "Lucky you." Wyatt grinned. "If it's a gift, just say it's a gift. That's such a lame excuse. Who's going to believe that? Then give it back. No take-backs on gifts." "I've changed my mind." "Nope, it's mine now. Give it to me." Wyatt held the phone up high. CeCe stood on her tiptoes, trying to grab it back. After a couple of failed attempts, she looked like she was about to stomp on his foot, but then she seemed to remember she'd injured it before. Instead, she pushed him away and started walking off on her own. Wyatt quickly chased after her. "Wait for me." They walked out of the school grounds together. CeCe stopped and asked, "Where are we going?" "Your school is pretty close to the Brooklyn Bridge. Let's walk around the Dumbo waterfront this morning, then see a movie this afternoon, and get a picture near the Empire State Building. I'll take you back to your dorm in the evening, and then I'll head back. Lead the way." CeCe had a terrible sense of direction, and since she'd barely left campus during the boot camp, she was completely lost once they were outside the gates. Wyatt led her to the subway station, and they got off at the Clark Street stop. On the train, Wyatt eagerly began transferring data from his old phone to the new iPhone. The iPhone 6 might not be as good as the latest models, but it was miles better than the piece of junk he'd been using. In 2014, the iPhone was still king. He was grinning like an idiot the whole time, not just because he had a new phone, but because he had a soon-to-be girlfriend who would buy him one. In his past life, he had bought Chloe an iPhone too, but she was only happy for a day before going back to being cold and distant. And he had saved up for a whole semester for that phone. Thinking about the past, and then the present, Wyatt was filled with emotion. After they got off the subway, he turned to CeCe and said with sincere gravity, "Thank you. It's just a phone. What's there to thank me for? When I get rich, I'll buy you anything you want. We'll see when you get rich." CeCe clasped her hands behind her back, turning her head to the side, a smile playing on her lips. They strolled along the waterfront, admiring the stunning view of the Manhattan skyline across the East River. A cool breeze blew, the water sparkled, and the distant skyscrapers, together with the ferries on the river, formed a magnificent city portrait. After about half an hour of aimless walking, CeCe sat down on a bench, gently tapping her thighs with her small fists. "I'm tired. Let's rest for a bit." Wyatt sat down next to her. Once the data transfer was complete, he took a picture of the new iPhone with his old phone, then used the new iPhone to post on his social media feed. He uploaded the photo and added a caption, "New phone for my girlfriend." To avoid any nagging, he blocked his dad, his mom, and a few other relatives before hitting post. "What are you smiling about?" "Nothing, just posting on my feed to show off a little." CeCe rolled her eyes. "So lame." "Oh crap. Now what?" "I forgot to block your mom." CeCe felt a sense of dread. She snatched the phone from him. When she saw the post he had just published, her face instantly turned bright red. "Wyatt, don't panic. I'll delete it right now. She probably won't see it." Wyatt took the phone back, ready to delete the post. Just then, a notification popped up. He refreshed the feed. In the list of likes, 3 words stood out in stark relief: Aunt Miranda. Wyatt looked up at CeCe. "Your mom already liked it," he said weakly. "You don't start yelling yet. Let me just explain to your mom." Wyatt switched apps and opened his chat with Miranda, typing quickly. "And Miranda, I was just trying to show off on my feed. Is that what you think?" Miranda replied almost instantly, "I know when the phones was for you." "Miranda, are you 2 together right now?" "Wyatt, yeah. We're at the Dumbo waterfront." "Miranda, okay, take good care of CeCe. I have a meeting to get to." "Wyatt, no problem." After replying and deleting the post, Wyatt turned back to CeCe. "See? All explained. And I deleted the post." CeCe was still fuming. "I don't want to talk to you right now. Come on, it's not a big deal. It's not like your mom doesn't know about us." Go away. I'm sorry, okay? I was wrong. Wyatt got up and walked in front of her, squatting down on the ground and putting his face close to hers. Here, how about you slap me a couple of times? You think I wouldn't dare? Go for it. CeCe raised her hand, but then she noticed several passers-by staring at them. She quickly lowered it, ducked her head, and muttered, "To sit down properly. Not until you say you're not mad anymore. Sit down. First, say you're not mad." Fine. I'm not mad anymore. Wyatt immediately sat down beside her again. As soon as that group of people had passed, CeCe, still fuming, reached out and viciously pinched a small piece of flesh on his arm. Instead of crying out in pain, Wyatt just grinned sheepishly. Feel better now? Oof. Seeing that she had dropped the subject, Wyatt propped his feet up and started typing in his dorm group chat. Wyatt, every one of you guys up yet? Sent for my iPhone 6, 128 gigabytes, gold Alex. Just got up. What's up? Wyatt. Nothing, just got a new phone, testing out the signal. Sent for my iPhone 6, 128 gigabytes, gold Alex. You bought an iPhone 6? Wyatt. Yep. Sent for my iPhone 6, 128 gigabytes, gold Chris. Dude, do you really have to add that to the end of every message? Wyatt. I don't know how to turn the signature off. Alex. How much did it cost? Wyatt. Didn't cost me anything. My girlfriend got it for me. After sending that last message, Wyatt left the group chat and sent a picture of the Empire State Building to Leo. Wyatt. Image Wyatt. Here's the Empire State Building. Pretty cool, right? Sent for my iPhone 6, 128 gigabytes, gold Leo. Leo. You got a new phone? Wyatt. You mean this iPhone? Wyatt, my girlfriend got it for me. Wyatt. 4. 7-inch screen. An 8-chip, 8-megapixel camera. Supports 4K video. 128 gigabytes of storage. Touch ID. It's so awesome. Wyatt. Why aren't you saying anything? Wyatt. Hello? Leo? You there? Leo. I'm on my way to Home Depot. Leo. Send me your location. I'm coming to find you. That afternoon, they went to a movie theater and saw The Maze Runner. Wyatt had never seen it before and was completely engrossed. CeCe wasn't a huge fan of sci-fi action, and after the movie ended, she gave it a lukewarm review. It was okay. They walked from the theater to the base of the Empire State Building. Before coming to New York, Wyatt had always thought it must be an incredible sight, but standing right underneath it, he found it was just a tall building. The most beautiful scenery isn't a mountain or a river, but a person. Sometimes, all it takes is for someone to stand in one place, and they become a masterpiece. Let me take a picture of you. No, we're already here, just one picture. Fine, but you're not allowed to post it anywhere. I promise. Where should I stand? Wyatt considered the composition, then led CeCe to a set of steps. Just stand right here. Trust me, I'm a professional photographer. Once CeCe was in position, Wyatt backed up several feet, crouched down with his phone, and started adjusting the angle. The evening sun cast a warm glow on the stone, painting CeCe's cheeks a rosy red. She was wearing a light blue dress, her waterfall of long hair cascading over her shoulders. The wind lifted the hem of her dress and tousled her hair. Just by standing there, she became the center of attention for many passers-by. Are you done yet? CeCe stomped her foot lightly, a small gesture of frustration at the unwanted stares. Wyatt found the perfect angle and snapped several shots. He hurried back over and showed her the phone, his head so close to hers they were almost touching. A few weeks ago, she would have pushed him away, but now she didn't. So, not bad, right? It's okay. All right, your turn to take one of me, Wyatt said with a smile. CeCe readily agreed. She went to where he had been standing and took a picture of him from the same angle. Before showing it to him, she looked at it herself. This dork is actually pretty photogenic. Here, she handed the phone back to Wyatt. He took it, glanced at the photo, and grinned. Should we take a selfie together? No, absolutely not. Just one no. Fine, fine, have it your way. I secretly took a few of us already anyway. What did you say? Nothing. Are you hungry? No. Then take me back to my dorm. As you wish, my lady. This way, please. Suck up. They retraced their steps. After getting off at the subway station nearest to Juilliard, they still had a 12-minute walk to the school. As they were chatting about funny things that happened during boot camp, a loud screech of tires suddenly pierced the air. SCRECH. Wyatt's head snapped toward the sound. A small delivery truck had slammed on its brakes in the middle of the road. Less than 3 feet in front of it, an old man dramatically collapsed to the ground. The truck had clearly come to a complete stop. The man had fallen after it stopped. This is a textbook insurance scam, Wyatt thought. What are the odds of running into this? The truck driver, a man who clearly didn't have much money, jumped out of his cab. He was wearing a sweat-stained white tank top, and the sight of the old man on the ground wailing in pain sent him into an immediate panic. A crowd quickly formed. Wyatt thought for a moment, then turned to CeCe. Wait here for me. I'm gonna go be a hero. Under CeCe's astonished gaze, Wyatt held his phone up and walked into the middle of the street. Coming through, coming through. Wow, sir, you've got guts, Wyatt said loudly. At your age, still out here pulling scams. I recorded the whole thing on my phone. This driver clearly didn't hit you. You threw yourself on the ground. That's not very cool, is it? The old man, seeing Wyatt's phone, started wailing even louder. Wyatt chuckled. Sir, most cars have dash cams these days, and there are security cameras everywhere. Try to extort money like this is a crime. Hey everyone, did you all see what happened? It was obvious he was faking. If a man his age had really been hit by a truck, he wouldn't be able to scream. As his wails grew more theatrical, the crowd started pointing and murmuring. Scams like this had become a major social issue. The old man on the ground saw that the crowd had turned against him. He abruptly stopped his performance. He shot Wyatt a furious glare, then, amid a chorus of accusations, scrambled to his feet and scurried away. The truck driver watched him go, a massive weight lifting from his shoulders. He rushed over to Wyatt, grabbing his hand, his face beaming with relief. Son, thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I don't know what I would have done. Seeing the driver's honest, grateful smile, Wyatt grinned back. Hey, no problem. It was the right thing to do. That's a good kid right there. So nice to see. Young man, are you married? One of the older women in the crowd asked. He's still in college. Well, do you have a girlfriend? Do you want my niece's number? Ma'am, I already have a girlfriend. Wyatt pointed to CeCe on the sidewalk. For some reason, when he pointed, CeCe's heart started to flutter again. The crowd of aunts and uncles, seeing that he was taken, offered a few more words of praise before dispersing. Just as Wyatt was about to leave, the truck driver called out, Son, wait a second. He ran to the back of his truck and pulled out a case of peaches and a case of cherries, handing them to Wyatt. It was only then that Wyatt realized the man was a fruit delivery driver. Wait a minute. Fruit? There's only one fruit store near campus. Sir, what's this? Take these home to eat. Thank you for helping me today. You probably saved me a year's worth of earnings. Sir, this is too much. It's nothing, the driver said with a smile. I get this fruit at wholesale prices, much cheaper than what you pay at the store. It's not a lot of money. Take it and share it with your girlfriend. Sir, where do you get all this fruit from? Up in the Bronx. There's a huge wholesale market, Hunts Point. Wyatt's mind started racing. Sir, can we exchange numbers? Could you send me the address of the market? Though he didn't understand why Wyatt was asking, the driver took out his phone and they added each other. Seeing the driver's name on the contact, Wyatt introduced himself. My name is Wyatt, sir. All right, I've still got deliveries to make. I'll send you the address later. Great, thank you. Haha, no, thank you. Wyatt watched the truck drive away, then carried the 2 cases of fruit back to the sidewalk. As they continued walking toward Juilliard, his mind was busy analyzing the feasibility of opening a fruit store. First, a fruit store didn't need a lot of space, which would save on rent. Second, fruit was a daily necessity. His campus alone had 20,000 students. If he could open a store, the foot traffic would be guaranteed. Third was the cost. He would need to go to the wholesale market to check prices and then research the retail market. He decided he would create a more detailed feasibility report that night. They entered the campus. It was dinner time, and the paths were filled with students. Wyatt and CeCe walking side by side attracted a lot of attention. During the boot camp, CeCe's looks had already become the stuff of legend. If it weren't for her 3 roommates spreading the word that she already had a boyfriend, she would have been swarmed by now. Can you carry these 2 cases of fruit? She asked. The driver gave them to you, not me. What's mine is yours, right? We're family. No need to be so formal. CeCe stopped in her tracks, pointing a finger at him with a mock-fierce expression. Wyatt, I'm warning you, if you keep talking nonsense like that, I'm really not going to talk to you anymore. Wyatt quickly changed his tune. It's a pain to carry them back on 2 trains. You should just take them upstairs and share them with your roommates. CeCe was about to speak. CeCe, a clear voice called out from a short distance away. Both of them turned to look. A girl with curly hair was walking towards them, greeting CeCe warmly. Are you just getting back from off campus? CeCe nodded. Who's she? Wyatt whispered. The curly-haired girl answered enthusiastically. CeCe and I are in the same class. My name is Wendy. You must be CeCe's boyfriend, right? Wyatt accepted the title without hesitation. That's me. CeCe pushed him away, still annoyed. He is not. When he took one look at the situation and thought, a lover's quarrel. She gave Wyatt a meaningful glance, her eyes seeming to say, well, aren't you going to do something to win her over? Wyatt shot a look back that said, she's too hard to please. You gotta help me out. Wendy smiled. If he's not your boyfriend, then he's my. CeCe didn't even want to call him a friend. She replied with 2 simple, clean words. He's my slave. Wendy's eyes widened. She gave Wyatt a look that screamed, "I can't help you with this one," then quickly made an excuse and walked away, muttering under her breath. A slave? Is this what dating is like these days? All right, don't be mad. It's getting dark. I have to head back to my school, Wyatt said. It was only then that CeCe remembered he had a nearly 90-minute trip back. You should go, she said. What about these 2 cases of fruit? Give them to me. They're kind of heavy. Let me at least carry them to your dorm building for you. CeCe shot him a look, then continued walking toward her dorm. At the entrance, Wyatt handed the 2 cases to CeCe, not forgetting to add, remember to eat and sleep on time. If you run into any problems you can't solve, just text me. You're so naggy. Okay, I'm really leaving now. I'll see if I'm free next weekend. If I am, I'll come back. He turned to go. Wait a second. Wyatt turned back, a questioning look on his face. Wait right here. Don't move. CeCe carried the 2 cases of fruit up to her dorm, set them on her desk, then pulled a few face masks from her drawer and hurried back downstairs. Isabel got up, glanced at the fruit on the desk, and immediately went out onto the balcony. Ashley and Sophie saw her and quickly followed. 3 heads peered down at the scene below. CeCe walked out of the dorm entrance and handed the face masks to Wyatt. He saw what they were and immediately grinned. I don't need these. Are you going to take them or not? CeCe asked, her expression stubborn. Seeing her determined little face, Wyatt found it incredibly cute. He took the masks. Actually, he said with a smile, if I'm a little tanner, doesn't it just make you look paler by comparison? CeCe pouted. Use one every night before you go to sleep for half an hour. If you're still this dark the next time you come over, then I'll... Yes, ma'am. Wyatt snapped a salute. I guarantee I'll be paler next time. I'm really going now. Okay. You know, I'm a little sad to leave. Should we hug? Get lost? Wyatt laughed, waved, and turned to walk away. What a dork, CeCe whispered to herself with a smile. On the second-floor balcony. Sophie, the mood was perfect. Why didn't they kiss? Ashley, they probably already have. There are too many people around. CeCe must have been shy. Isabel, not necessarily. I don't think they've reached that stage yet. Sophie, then what stage are they in? Sophie, the flirting stage? Isabel, the experienced one, nodded sagely. Definitely. Click. The dorm room door opened. CeCe saw her 3 roommates huddled on the balcony, whispering. She froze, realizing their vantage point gave them a perfect view of the scene downstairs. She suddenly felt a pang of anxiety. Did they see everything? No, I didn't do anything, did I? Do you guys want some fruit? Yes. Fruit from the super handsome guy is definitely going to be extra sweet. I need to get in on this good luck. Maybe I'll find a boyfriend soon, too.